at which point in 2004, in January 2004, I attended the Uvalde Junior College Middle Rio Grande Law Enforcement Training Center. Graduated in May of 2004, at which point the Uvalde County Sheriff's Office carried my commission as a reserve officer. In 2005, I was hired with the Uvalde Police Department and was with the Uvalde Police Department until 2023.
So 18 years?
Total of 18 years. I did about a year, a little over a year and a half in Mustang Ridge Police Department, and currently have a reserve commission.
With Mustang Ridge in addition?
2023.
Okay.
Mr. Turner, microphone, please.
Thank you. And could you tell us your history with the Uvalde Police Department? Did you maintain the same rank throughout that period of time?
No, sir. I started out as a patrol officer in 2025.
Excuse me, 2025?
I'm sorry, 2005.
Thank you.
And at which point one of my positions that I held was a school resource officer, and I was a school resource officer for 3 years, I believe, at which point in 2011 I was promoted to sergeant investigator.
And what's the difference between a sergeant and a patrol officer?
Sergeant is a position that holds a rank that, well, as an investigator, I wasn't in charge directly as a supervisor of anyone at that point. It wasn't until I think it was 2014 is when I was moved over to patrol sergeant. At that point, then I had 6 individuals under my supervision.
And so they answered to you?
Yes, sir.
And if you commanded them, they did as you commanded?
As long as it was morally correct and a lawful order, yes, sir.
And then above you, were there additional ranks?
Yes, sir.
And what are those ranks?
At the Uvalde Police Department, there was, above the sergeant was a lieutenant, and the lieutenants, so it fluctuated. They had, at some point there was a captain, but they ended up restructuring, but it was a lieutenant, and then the chief, and that was it, sir.
So the chief is at the top of the heap?
Yes, sir.
And how many primary law enforcement jurisdictions were in Uvalde during this period of time?
So, how many jurisdictions were
how many law enforcement agencies, or just the primary law enforcement agencies?
Well, there
in
was
Uvalde?
there was quite a few. There was U.S. Border Patrol. There was DPS. There was local law enforcement PD. There was the Uvalde County Sheriff's Office. A number of constable offices, which and then and of course the 38 Judicial.
Okay. And so let me start with the Sheriff's Office. Did they have a primary jurisdiction?
Yes, sir, of the county.
And is that of the entire county or outside the city limits?
So it's entire county, yes, sir.
Entire county.
They had a jurisdiction of the entire county, yes, sir.
And the city of Uvalde,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell us what their jurisdiction was?
Within the city limits, yes, sir.
Okay. And then the school district police, what was their jurisdiction?
Their jurisdiction was any of the campuses that we had in the city of Uvalde, including some that were outside the city as well. I believe, I think they had one in Batesville.
Okay. And so if a crime happened on the school district, who had primary jurisdiction over that crime?
The school police would typically take charge of that incident.
And if the school, by taking charge, does that mean that you were excluded from working on the police campus?
No, sir. No, sir. We had a good relation with the campus police officers. We maintained a working relationship with them. They understood. We notified them if there was any investigations that needed to take place, that if we needed to conduct an investigation, we would notify them and advise them, and go from there.
And they would be primarily responsible,
Yes, sir.
but would you all
Well,
assist?
As far as the investigation, they would allow us to do the investigation as long as we notified them. But if there, anything that happened on school grounds during the daytime, they would generally they would do the investigation. Yes, sir.
And so if you went onto the school grounds, would that be in an assist role?
Can you clarify?
Sure. Did you sometimes go on the school grounds to assist the?
Yes,
school
we
district?
assisted. Yes.
Okay. And by the same token, in the city of Uvalde, who had the primary jurisdiction in the city of Uvalde?
The city police officers.
That would be you and your group.
Correct.
Okay. And did the school district police, were they allowed to assist you?
Yes.
And by assist, I mean, is that different from taking over an investigation from you?
Of course. I mean, if we had a call and a school resource officer, or I'm sorry, a school officer, campus police officer, was in the area, chances are they would stop to make sure that the officer was okay. But no, they never took any investigations away from officers. They allowed them to conduct their investigation and back them up.
And that's the same for you. You wouldn't allow a school district officer to take an investigation over that you were engaged in?
Oh, that's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that also true for the sheriff's office?
Yes, sir.
Would you go into the sheriff's office to assist them with an actual active crime scene and take over or take that decision-making away from them?
No, sir.
You were there to assist or help them?
If they needed assistance, they would ask generally.
Okay, and so that's what we mean by primary
Correct.
jurisdiction and assistance. Is that fair?
That's fair.
As a police officer, and I'll take you directly to 2022, could you describe for the jury in general terms how you were armed or what equipment you had at your disposal?
I had a pistol, a Glock sidearm. I had, on that day, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
I had an external ballistic vest. I had a baton, 2 pair of handcuffs, 2 magazines, and 1 magazine in my pistol. I had a tourniquet. I had pepper spray, and I had a taser.
Did you have a rifle?
No, sir, I did not have a rifle at that time.
Okay. So you've talked about the equipment that you had, both in arms as well as protection. Is that
Yes, sir.
correct? And did you have also equipment that assisted you in recording events that occurred while you were on duty?
Yes, sir, I had a body camera.
And tell us about a body camera.
The body camera that we specifically had, we could activate the camera. It would record in audio and video.
Where was the body camera on your body?
On my chest, sir.
And how did you activate the body camera?
There was a button that you would slide down to activate it, and it would turn on.
And I suppose, was it battery operated then?
Yes, sir.
And so tell us about how long the body cameras would last.
That's a good question, because depending on the age of the camera and the number of cycles that that camera had been charged, it would deteriorate over time. But we understood that generally what happened would, the battery would deteriorate. We wanted to get as much as we can, so we were always conscious about the battery, the operation of the camera.
So conscious about when you say get what you can, it was important.
Correct, yes, sir. Well, anytime we would make contact with a citizen, but we would turn it on
But it wasn't something that was on all day long?
No, sir.
You had to make a conscious movement to turn it on?
Yes, sir, we did.
Okay. And that was when you were making contact?
Yes, sir.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. In addition to body cameras, were you assigned a police car?
Yes, sir.
Tell us how your police car was equipped.
So I shared a Tahoe with another sergeant, and us two, we would have emergency equipment like gloves. We had we carried the majority of our equipment with us. We would take it on and off, but generally we'd have like raincoats, cones, things of that nature that we'd use typically day to day.
And was your police car also equipped with the means of recording important information when you investigated or were involved in an act of crime?
Yes, sir. It was a dash camera.
And did the dash camera run continuously?
So it would depend on how the administration would set the camera system, or if they would purchase it. If they, there was a number of ways that they could set up the camera system. My particular camera system, if I parked my vehicle and turned off my vehicle, it would stay on for a certain time, and then it would time out, and to conserve battery so that it wouldn't kill the battery on the vehicle, it would shut down. And then once I turn on my vehicle, and I say this because over the years it would change, but on that particular one, I would turn on the vehicle, and it would boot up, and it would start the camera system.
Okay. And did that play a part in when your dash cam video started recording on this day, May 24, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Could you explain that to the jury and how that worked?
So what happened was, on that particular day, I was at the Uvalde Police Department when the call came in. So I was there for some time, and at that point, by that time, my camera system, the dash cam, had turned off. So when the call came in for shots being fired in the proximity of the school, I jumped into my Tahoe, and when I turned the ignition on, at that point, the process had started where it was booting up the camera system. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. So does that mean then we would have the camera system starting from when you left the city police department?
No, because it takes time for that system to boot up.
And by time, I need to know what you mean by time.
Well, I can't give you the specific time it took for it to boot up. I can just tell you that just like any computer that you turn on, it's going to take time for the system to boot up. And at that point, because on that particular day, I had already activated my lights on my, so what it has is triggers. So anytime a police officer turns on their lights or sirens, depending on how that specific camera system is programmed, those triggers initiate the camera system to start recording. But on that particular day, because I was at the police department, by the time I got on my vehicle and turned it on, I had already activated my lights, but that didn't trigger an automatic recording from the time I left. It took time for that camera system to start booting up, and then at that point, then the camera system then started recording as soon as it could, as soon as the system was booted up. Does that make sense?
And have you reviewed your dash cam from that day?
Yes, sir. It's been a number. It's been some time, but yes, sir. I have seen it.
And when the dash cam begins recording, is that consistent with your testimony about it takes some time to boot up?
It did. I mean, obviously, when I reviewed it, from the time I left the police department to the time I got there, and I was traveling at a pretty high rate of speed, it would make sense that it took that time for that system to boot up the way it did.
And so there's nothing untoward about the dash cam not starting earlier in your travel over to Robb Elementary?
No, sir.
It would just be the standard way the equipment in Uvalde Police Department works?
Correct. Well, my particular camera system, yes, sir.
Fair. And so now I'd like to start with that day.
Sure.
Your position was what?
A patrol sergeant.
And where were you around the 11:30 hour of May 24, 2022?
At that day, I was at the Uvalde Police Department looking over police reports.
So the sergeant's job is to also look over police reports?
Yes, sir. We typically what we do is we'll look over the reports and make sure that the reports are correct and approve. We make a approve of the reports.
Okay. And that's how you were occupying your time?
Yes, sir. That's what I was doing. Yes, sir.
And how far is the police department from Robb Elementary?
I would say probably maybe like a mile and a half. Would that be accurate? I'm not exactly.
Just in general?
Yes, sir. I mean, again, like I said, it's not too big of a distance. It's on the west side of the city.
And were you familiar with Robb Elementary School?
I was familiar with it. Yes, sir.
Do you have family that was attending Robb Elementary?
I did not have any immediate family. I didn't have any children that were attending. No, sir.
Did you have cousins
Yes, sir. I sure did.
that were attending Robb?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you familiar with your cousins' age, grades in school?
No, not specifically. Not specifically. I knew that. I'll be a little bit more. So, Uvalde is a small community. I mean, it has a population of 14,000. I had extended family throughout the city.
Okay.
People that I grew up with, people that I knew, cousins, second cousins that I've grown up with my entire time that I was living there. And so of course I had cousins that were in Robb, yes, sir.
And so how were you notified about a problem at Robb Elementary?
So on that day, what happened was while I was doing reports, I did hear, we have a radio so where my office is, it's next to what we call the squad room. And so that's where all the officers would go and do their reports, get paperwork, things like that. And so on that particular day, a radio broadcast came out of an accident that occurred. I really didn't, I acknowledged it, but I didn't pay much attention to it. I wasn't responding to it. I believe that day I had 6 officers that were working. I think I had 2 officers that were at the police department doing reports. At that point, a short time later, then I hear that shots were fired at this accident. I knew that it was a close proximity to the school. It was at that point that I jumped up from my desk and ran down the hall.
And when you heard, and I may be getting
Sure.
too precise, but when you heard shots were fired, did that come from a dispatch voice or a police officer voice?
That's a good.
If you know.
That's a good question. It was from dispatch, I believe. Yes, sir.
Okay. Are your dispatch officers at that time, were they all women?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so as best you recall, it was a woman that said shots were fired?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so that triggered a reaction in you?
Yes.
And did you just hear shots fired, or did you hear a location?
Well, I knew it was in close proximity to the school. I couldn't recall specifically if it was, I believe it was Old Carrizo Road is what was broadcast.
And just from you working and living there, you knew where Old Carrizo Road was?
Yes, sir.
And is that also where Robb Elementary is?
Yes, sir.
And so why did that trigger a reaction in you?
Well, I knew that shots were fired and it was a close proximity to the school.
And so what did you do?
I immediately jumped, like I said, I got up from my office and ran down the hall, and I started yelling for whoever was in yelling distance. I started yelling that there was shots fired by the Robb Elementary. and ran to my Tahoe and got in it and drove towards the school.
So when shots are fired at Robb Elementary, does that mean all hands on deck?
I would hope so, yes, sir.
And that's why you yelled it out down the hallway?
Well, I yelled it out because, again, that radio is being broadcast in the squad room. There's other offices that are inside the hallway. It's not a very big building, but again, it would make sense that some of the officers or detectives that were working that day, because I was working day shift, there might have been individuals that didn't hear that broadcast out. So when I yelled that out, I did notice immediately detectives immediately getting up from their seats and yelling what was going on, and so I yelled out again, shots fired by the Robb School, and I didn't wait there to explain it to him. I just ran out and jumped in my Tahoe.
And you were thinking clearly enough to act when you heard that there were shots fired at Robb School?
Yes, sir.
And how did you act? What did you do?
Well, when I jumped in a Tahoe, I immediately started. Anytime I get a call, anytime I receive a call through dispatch, if I respond to a call, I'm thinking about the potentials, thinking of what could happen, getting in the correct mindset, and trying to think of what I'm going to encounter as I'm heading to the call. That particular moment, I was thinking what could have happened, because again, the first thing that went through my mind was, okay, we had an accident. There's a good chance that maybe there was a road rage incident. So that was the first thought that ran into my head, was or possibly a bailout. That was another thing that we were just getting hammered with bailouts that was back in 2022.
So you have two pieces of information. There's an accident, and then there's shots fired.
Yes, sir.
And you start playing in your mind out the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that is consistent with what you have known as a police officer. That's how you kind of go through, what am I about to encounter?
Sure. I mean, that's something that, you learn, the first things that you learn as a police officer in the academy. When you go through FTO, those are the things that you prepare yourself, you prepare to deal with the incident you're about to encounter.
And was there a location also? How did you know where to go?
Well, I was heading in that direction, so that particular moment in time, I noticed that the two officers that I had said that were at the police department were driving ahead of me as I was exiting the police department. I was parked in the back, and I was coming through the rear gate, and as I was coming out of the police department, I noticed the two police officers that were there, and they also started responding to the same call.
And so, even though you're the first to pass that information on, you end up third in that line of officers?
Those two particular officers drove a different route than I did. I believe they turned down Evans Street, and I continued eastbound until I got to, Grove, South Grove. I took a ride on South Grove, and when I got there, those two officers had already been, I saw those two, they were driving Explorers. Those two Explorers were at the intersection of Grove and, what's the name of that street? Geraldine.
Okay. And so we're just talking about a few seconds, but they did beat you to the place?
Yes, sir.
And did you say that's because your car was in the back, parked in the back?
Yes, sir.
Was their car parked in the back too, or?
I'm sorry?
Were their cars parked in the back too, or?
Can
The two officers that beat you there?
Uh-huh.
Were they parked where you were parked?
I don't know where they were parked, sir.
Okay, fair enough. But you get there within just a few seconds of when the other two officers got there?
Well, I can only I can only say that I got there, they were already there. I don't know, I would assume that it was a few seconds. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me make sure I understand the trip over there. Do you go the speed limit when you're answering a shots fired call?
I didn't, no, sir.
Okay. So how fast did you travel?
I couldn't tell you exactly how fast I was traveling. I was traveling at a high rate of speed.
You were in a hurry.
I was.
And did you use any of your equipment on the vehicle as you were headed over there?
Yes, sir, lights and sirens.
Okay. And the purpose of the lights?
Is to, so the purpose of the lights was to get everyone out of the way. I was responding, what we refer to as code.
And the purpose of the sirens?
Same thing, to alert traffic to get out of the way.
Okay. And so as you approached South Grove Street and Geraldine, at that point, before you turned off your vehicle, the lights and sirens were on?
Can you repeat the question?
Before you turned off your vehicle, were the lights and sirens on?
Are you referring back to when I was at the police department?
The trip down Grove Street?
I never turned off my vehicle, no, sir.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So no, when I got to the intersection, I put it in park and immediately saw officers taking cover behind the vehicles. They were, at the time, they were receiving gunfire, as what I perceived to be receiving gunfire.
When you say you perceived that they were receiving gunfire, describe how you came to that decision.
Well, so as I was approaching, I saw them taking cover, which means that they were they were on the north side of their vehicles. Their vehicles were facing east. And they were behind the vehicles. And when I got off the vehicle, I could hear gunfire going off. I made my way to where they were at, and my first question was, "Where's it coming from?" They said that they didn't know.
So you had gunfire,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't know where it was coming from?
No, sir.
And the other officers didn't at that time know where it was coming from?
No, sir.
Was there anything in addition to the gunfire that was consistent with the dispatch about the wreck and the shots fired? Did you see a wreck?
No, sir, I did not see a wreck.
Okay. Did you see a truck in a ditch?
No, sir.
Okay. What did you do when you got out of the vehicle, asked the officers where the shots were coming from? What did you do then?
So, as soon as I got off my vehicle, it was a matter of seconds before I asked them where the shooter was, where they were receiving gunfire. One of the officers says he didn't know, or both of them. I'm not sure. Both of them responded they didn't know. As I am trying to figure out what the gunfire is, I don't hear any rounds coming in my direction. I don't hear the vehicle taking any rounds. So at that point I decide to get up and look over the vehicle and try to determine where the shots are coming from. I don't see anything, I don't know where they're coming from, but maybe a second or two is when I look over to my left behind me and I see people yelling from the funeral home, and they're yelling out, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. My concern at that point was for them, so I start yelling at them to get back into the building. But as they're yelling at me, I could hear them saying, "He's running towards the school, he's running towards the school." So at that point then...
Let me stop you right there.
Yes, sir.
I believe you said that your officers were taking fire.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you heard those shots while you were still in your car?
So
I'm trying to understand, because at one point you say you don't hear any shots, but also you say that you were taking fire. I'm just trying to understand.
did I say that I didn't hear any gunfire?
At one point you said you peeked up because you weren't hearing gunfire.
No. So I didn't hear rounds whizzing over my head. Typically what happens is when you're receiving gunfire, I mean, you can hear rounds going overhead. So that was when I said I don't hear any rounds come in my direction, I don't hear any rounds coming towards me specifically, but I do hear the percussion of the gun going off. And I mean, it's a matter of seconds that I'm trying to figure out all this stuff that's coming in my head, and figuring out where the shooter is. And I know that I don't hear my vehicle getting hit or their vehicle getting hit. I don't hear glass break. I don't hear rounds penetrating the vehicle. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out where those rounds are coming from. And when I don't hear that, I'm trying to look, determine where the individual could be.
And that didn't assist you when you tried to look yourself?
When I came up to the intersection, the distance from that location to the school is probably over a football field, maybe 130, 40 yards from where I was at to the school. And anywhere in between there, I'm trying to look and see where the shooter is. So I don't know. I mean, that's a large area to cover to be able to scan and look for rounds coming your way, and also understand that I'm also receiving gunfire at that time, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
When you say you're receiving gunfire, that's different from shots going off. Why did you say receiving gunfire?
Well, again, like I said, I went with what I saw at the time, which was officers that were taking cover. I determined that I determined that the rounds weren't hitting the vehicle. So that's when I was trying to just stick my head out and try to figure out where these rounds are coming from.
So by receiving gunfire, what does that mean to the jury?
To me, at that moment, I know that there were shots being fired, but I don't know where. I don't hear rounds hitting the vehicle. So I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not receiving gunfire. Does that make sense?
And why does it not mean that you necessarily are not receiving gunfire?
Well, I'm trying to make that determination in my head is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to make that determination where the rounds are, where they're coming from, all those things in a matter of 10 seconds, 8 seconds.
Sure. So a round could be coming your direction and not hitting a vehicle.
Correct.
And you could still be receiving gunfire.
Yes, sir.
And so that's in one part why you're saying you're receiving gunfire.
Yes, sir.
Is that fair?
Yes, sir, that's fair.
I'm sorry, okay. And so you peek over your vehicle and you say it's over 100 yards. Is that correct?
That's correct.
To the school?
Well, where I'm positioned at that moment in time, there's an entire open field from that ditch where the vehicle was after the fact that the vehicle was found. From that area, there's an entire open field.
Well, the vehicle was already there, wasn't it?
Well, I knew that now, but at the time, no, I did not know there was a vehicle that was there.
Fair
Does that
enough.
make sense?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to give you an understanding where I'm at, where I'm positioned at the intersection.
Okay.
What I see out there is an open field, and then I see a building, the Robb School buildings.
And was there anybody in the open field?
I could not see anybody, no.
And between the open field and the building, is there a parking lot?
Yes.
And this was a school day?
Yes.
Were there cars in the parking lot?
Yes, I could see vehicles, yes, sir.
In the parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And would that shield the view of somebody behind those vehicles?
It could potentially, yes, sir.
Okay. And so as you looked, you didn't see a gun?
No, sir.
Did you hear any more shots?
I know that, like I said, I know I heard rounds going off initially when I get there. My attention turns back to the individuals that were yelling, and at that point then I ran back to my vehicle, my Tahoe, and I proceeded to see if I can locate the individual shooting rounds.
Because the people at the funeral home were
Yes.
yelling at you?
Yes, sir.
Did they give you a direction to go.
Towards the school, that's all they said. I believe that one of them had said he was running towards the school.
So you hear gunshots and then a witness tells you he's toward the school. Those two things cause you to act,
Yes, sir.
and you act immediately.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you hear going toward the school, you get up and jump in your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in your vehicle?
So the reason why I decided to jump back in my vehicle is because what I thought in my mind was he was running through the school, towards the school.
Okay, that's two different things I need to understand. To the school and through the school. I need to understand those two things.
Well, I was, again, I'm trying to process what people are yelling behind me while hearing gunfire.
Sure.
My concern is also for their safety and well-being. I'm yelling at them to get back into not knowing that they're trying to pass information on to me. And again, all this that we're talking about everything that we're talking about has happened in a matter of seconds. And so I'm trying to figure out what is going on, where the shots are coming from, in the same time taking rounds, what I perceive taking rounds, and trying to determine where this individual's at. When they yell, he's running towards the school, through the school, they're also quite a distance from me. They're yelling from the door, the front door, so I can't clearly hear exactly what they're saying, but I know that they had said something either through the school or to the school along those lines.
And would you describe their voice? Did it seem like they were excited?
Yes, sir.
Stressful?
Stress, yes, sir.
But you still relied on their information?
I was relying on whatever I could see here and whatever information I could use.
And that's from your 15, 18 years as a police officer.
Yes, sir.
And so you got in your car?
Yes, sir. I got in my Tahoe and I proceeded eastbound towards the front of the school.
And I think I got lost in my own questioning. There was the words to the school and through the school. In your mind, you're making that call.
Well, again, because in my mind, I'm responding to this call and I hear gunfire going off. I see officers taking cover. I'm trying to determine, then I hear individuals behind me yelling he's running to the school or through the school. And my whole thing is, again, you have to take into account where my mindset was at. I was thinking, okay, I possibly have an individual that got into an accident and is trying to get away from us, trying to shoot at us, and I need to find this guy and stop this guy. So when I figured that he was running through the school, I was going to go around in front and cut him off and flank him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in your mind, because it's either a road rage or a bailout, at that point, hearing shots, dispatch has told you there's shots,
Mm-hmm.
and a witness says either to the school or through the school, that's the body of information you have at that time.
Correct.
And so you acted on that information.
Yes.
And you went for the purpose of, why did you drive again? Or where did you drive, I should say, what street?
Well, I drove my Tahoe to the very front of the school. What I was anticipating was this individual was running through the school to go through the school. My intent was to go and flank him and stop him there.
So you're thinking through these
confront him there.
things?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you get to the front of the school?
Yes, sir.
When you got to the front of the school, what did you do?
When I got to the front of the school, I saw a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed towards the front of the school where I was parked. Immediately, I had the chief of police for the school district show up, Pete Arredondo.
This was his primary jurisdiction,
Yes, sir.
and he showed up at the front of the school about the same time you did?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, what did you do when you saw that it was Chief Arredondo?
When I saw it was Chief Arredondo, I mean, again, I know him personally. I was relieved to see him. And he's showing up, and so
When you say relieved, why does that relieve you?
Well, just someone that I know. It's just someone that I've worked with him a number of years, and so just seeing someone that I knew. It's not that I didn't know him or know anybody else. It was just for some reason I had someone that was there with me. In other words,
Had you worked with him?
Yes, sir, I had.
Were y'all of the same rank when
No,
you
sir.
worked together?
No, sir. He had more time than I was. He was actually acting chief. I'm not sure if he was chief of police of the Uvalde Police Department at one point.
And what was your rank at that time?
A patrol officer.
So he had considerable more experience than you did?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, in regard to Pete Arredondo, what did you and Pete Arredondo do? Describe that for us.
So immediately we both run towards the school to try to find the individual that was shooting. He's asking me, "Where's he at? Where's he at?" I relay back to him, "I have no idea. I don't know." At that point, we run towards. So at Robb School, there's like a circular drop off on the very front of the school, and so we went through the front gate through there where they drop off the children. We ran through there and ran underneath the breezeways and ran past the cafeteria and front office, continued running and ran down one of the breezeways. I want to say it was second to the last one, the furthest south.
So this run from the front of the school with Pete Arredondo, on that, were you walking or running?
No, I was running.
And why would you be running?
Well, I was trying to find where this guy was, this guy that was shooting at us.
Was time important?
I would say so, yes, sir.
Okay. And did you gather or get any other information during this route that you just described for us?
No, I was just actively searching for the guy that was shooting at us.
Okay. This might be a good time for you to kind of show us the route that you were taking. May I approach you? I know that you, of course, said I. I'll give you a second to kind of familiarize yourself. And here's because we got jurors that are here all the way to here, so the pointer might help you not get in their way.
So
Let's start with where you drove and where you started.
Yes, sir. So this is where this is the direction I came from, and I drove on southbound on South Grove. And when I got about right here, I see the two officers that are already parked right there. They're parked facing east. And when I get there, I stop my patrol vehicle there. And it was at that point that I jumped off the vehicle, and like I testified earlier, that's when we were receiving gunfire. The individuals that were yelling are over here at the front of the building. And as I'm getting here, I'm scanning all this area from this all the way to this. In the meantime, I'm receiving what I perceive to be gunfire, rapid gunfire, and I'm looking through all this area trying to see if I can see anything, but it's a considerable distance from here to there. At that point, when I determine, or when I hear the individual say he's running towards the school, I don't know where he's running towards the school, but obviously where I'm at here, I know he's running eastbound. I know that he's running eastbound. So at that point, I drive my vehicle this way, and I end up parking right here. Chief Arredondo comes and parks right there, and we both run towards the front of the school.
Let me stop you right here. So everything you have just described, was that captured on your dash cam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you get on foot, is that correct?
When I park here, yes, sir, I'm on foot here.
And after you get on foot, then the dash cam doesn't really help us with you.
No,
where
sir.
You go. Okay.
No, sir, not really. I run through here with myself and Chief Arredondo. This is where the curb, the drop off where the gate is at. I run through this gate and run to this this hallway here. It's an open hallway. It's just like a covered. And I run with Chief Arredondo, myself and him, run this way. And I want to say we got to right about here.
Yes, sir.
And at that point, then we start running up westbound towards the breezeway. Well, at this point, we still don't know where he's at, where anything is. We don't know where he's located. It's at this point that I have enough time and I activate my body camera.
So that's where you activate your body camera?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The delay in activating had nothing to do with not wanting people to see what you did
No,
before?
not at all. I mean, I again, like I said, prior to me even getting there, I'm that's not the first thought that runs through my head. Before, like I said, before I get off, I even see that officers are already taking gunfire. It'd be nice.
Sure.
So again, like I said,
Let me stop 1 second, though.
Go ahead.
But I think you also said that when you got on foot, you gathered no other information.
no, sir. While I'm actively searching for the guy, for the suspect, the individual that was shooting at us. As I'm running through here, I'm looking down the breezeways, looking every which way. I still don't know what he's wearing, what he looks like. The only thing that I had heard was he's running towards the school. I get no description of the individual, nothing like that.
And so, where is it again where you activate your body cam?
I'm running through this breezeway right here,
Okay.
under this building right here.
And so you activate your body cam, and does that thereafter pick up the information during this active shooter situation?
Yes, sir.
And show us, and then I'll sit down and talk about it, but did you end up in the 4th grade wing?
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Did you end up in this building?
I did, yes,
By
sir.
the parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Just show us that route, and then I'll sit down and we can talk about it.
Okay, so as I'm running through this wing, as I said earlier, I activate my body camera, and we're running through the wing, myself and Chief Arredondo, and I notice what individuals over here on the south side of this building. And it's when I get to right about the edge of the building, I hear muffled gunfire. And
Do you do anything when you hear the gun? I was going to sit down. If you can just show me the direction you took, then I'm going to sit down and ask you all those questions.
sure,
Just the direction.
I continued westbound towards this building, and then that's when I heard the muffled gunfire.
And so, where did you enter the building? You did enter a building?
Yes, sir. I proceeded this way after hearing the muffled gunfire and entered the south side of the building, this building here. Mhm.
And now I want to talk about that in a little bit more detail.
Yes, sir.
So you're running down that area that you say, you activate your camera,
Mhm.
and at some point you hear muffled gunfire.
Yes, sir.
And do you react, in other words, do you say anything when you hear that muffled gunfire?
I immediately yelled for the officers that I saw, the 2 individuals that I had determined to be officers, to run inside the building.
Okay. Is that all you said, run inside the building?
I can't remember exactly what I said. I was under stress and I yelled for them to run inside the building.
Will your camera pick up what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did they go to the building?
Yes, sir.
And did they enter the building?
Yes, sir, they did.
Did they enter ahead of you?
Yes, sir, they did.
Okay. And did you get there shortly thereafter?
Yes, sir.
And was anybody with you when you got there?
Well, the 2 officers that were there, Chief Arredondo, had entered the south side of the building, and I entered after them.
Okay.
I don't believe anyone entered behind me.
Okay. And what pace did you go toward that building
As fast as I could.
when you heard the shot?
Yes, sir.
Muffled as they were, and why did you decide to run to that building?
Well, I had already ran through, again, I had already searched that area of the breezeways. The way the building is, the way the buildings are, they're open buildings, open classrooms through these wings that I was showing you. And when I got to that last wing, I heard muffled, I don't know exactly where they're coming from, but I know that I hear muffled gunfire, and that's the only building that's left there. And so, I yell at the officers to get in the building.
Okay. So because it's muffled, your conclusion is it's not outside?
Right, yes, sir. Well, I made an educated guess and figured that it was from coming within the building. I don't know for certain because I don't see anything. I'm only responding to the muffled gunfire.
You're just aware enough to tell other officers where they should go,
Yes, sir.
and that was into the building.
Yes, sir.
For what purpose? Why would you want them to go into the building?
Well, I didn't know if other officers were receiving gunfire. I didn't know where the gunfire was coming from. I don't know if officers are engaging in a gunfight, whether they're being shot at or they're shooting somebody, but regardless, we need to get into the building.
It's a school day,
Yes, sir.
during school hours.
Yes, sir.
That's a school building.
It is a school building.
Were you concerned about kids at all?
From the moment I got there, yes, sir.
Okay. And so you went into the building too?
Yes, sir.
And tell us what happened when you went into the building.
As I entered the building on the south side, we slowed down a little bit and were quickly walking through the hallways. As I'm entering the building, I'm looking around, and the first thing I notice is the entire hallway is dark. It's dark, there's no lights on. I see what appeared to be smoke throughout the entire hallway.
Could you smell anything?
Smell something burnt, something was burning. I could smell.
Have you been around gunfire before?
Yes, sir.
Have you practiced on the practice range
Yes, sir.
and fired guns?
Yes, sir.
What did that burn smell like?
It smelled like gunpowder.
Okay. And so, tell us what you did.
Well, as I'm walking through, I'm trying to look all over, look around, because we don't know where the individual is, whether it's even one or two individuals, three individuals. We don't know anything other than shots were being fired. And as we are making our way through the hallway, it's dark. There are no lights on. It's extremely quiet. We don't hear anything. And again, like I said, there's like a cloud of smoke throughout the hallway. And the officers continue going through the hallway, and I keep looking back to make sure to cover behind us, because at this point, like I said, we don't know where this individual's at or whether there's more than one. And when I look down the hallway, I see the walls that have been perforated, would look to be gunshots, rounds that went through the wall.
Is that important to you?
Absolutely.
And why is that important to you?
Well, I knew that gunfire. Well, the first thing I thought was, okay, well, we're in this hallway. I knew that at any moment we could receive gunfire and rounds were going to go through the wall. It's
from inside the rooms?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I was thinking, we don't have any cover through here. We're making our way through here where there's no cover, but I knew that rounds had gone through the walls. There were sheetrock, so that's what I was looking at. I looked over and I saw holes in the sheetrock, and I also saw spent brass rounds on the ground, on the floor.
But there was no gunman in the hallway?
No, sir.
Did you still feel like he was in that building after seeing the holes in the sheetrock and smelling gunpowder? And, did that make you think whether the gunman was still?
Well, I am trying to process where this individual is. I don't know who shot the rounds or any of that. I just know that I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm processing everything that's coming.
So do you say anything when you see these holes in the walls?
I know, I told the officers to watch out that there was rounds through the wall. I want to say when I reviewed it, it didn't come out the way I thought it did, but that was my intent, to let these guys know that the rounds had gone through the wall.
So there's a difference between coverage and concealment?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So was this, for, if somebody was inside the room and you're in the hallway, was that coverage or concealment?
Concealment.
Not coverage?
No, no.
Because there were holes in the wall?
Correct.
Fair enough. And how many officers have been entered the South during this initial phase?
3 and 4 including myself.
And who was that?
It was myself, Chief Arredondo, and what later I found out it was Officer Adrian Gonzales and Sergeant Page.
Donald Page?
Donald Page, yes, sir.
That's the 4 that entered the South.
Yes, sir.
And Adrian Gonzales and Donald Page entered before you.
Yes, sir, they did.
Were those the 2 men that you saw at the south side of the building?
I saw 2 individuals. I later determined that they were them. I wasn't, again, like I said, my mind was going 100 miles an hour, so I didn't necessarily, I knew they were officers. I didn't know exactly who they were. I just knew that there was 2 individuals in front of me. I knew who Chief Arredondo was, because I was right next to him. But again, I'm looking down at a good distance, and I'm yelling for them to get inside. I wasn't concerned exactly who it was
At the time?
At the time, but I learned later on that it was Adrian.
Okay.
And Donald Page.
Okay, because you're in the hallway with them and in there after you were with them.
Well, yes, sir.
Okay. And did any officers come from the west door during this period of time as you're advancing?
No, I know that well, I don't know at that moment. It's not until after there's gunfire that I realize that there's other officers on the other side.
Okay. And so, at this point, you're at the south end, advancing through the hallway, but being
Yes, sir.
careful,
Mm-hmm.
looking back,
Mm-hmm.
and tell us what happened.
As we're making our way down the hall, walking north from the south end, we're walking through, and at that point I hear gunfire. I see an officer grab the back of his head, which was later determined to be Lieutenant Javi Martinez.
You know him?
Yes, sir, I do. He's employed with the Uvalde Police Department.
Okay.
And I saw him grab the back of his head. I hear officers yelling, "Are you hit? Are you hit?" And he says, "Yes, I'm hit."
Okay. And was that gunfire coming from behind you or from in front of you?
In front.
Okay. And so you hear gunfire, Javi Martinez hollers back, "I'm hit." Did he say anything else about his condition?
No, sir.
Okay. And so what happened next?
At that point, I can hear radios going off trying to break and trying to relay information. I also grab my radio, try to hit the radio to let officers know. Because at that point, once Officer Martinez is hit, I think it's him, he yells out, he's on the classroom over here to my left. And so at that point, I don't know specifically right then and there, but I know he's in one of the classrooms ahead of me. And I know that there's officers more than likely coming this way. So right when that happens, myself and Officer Adrian Gonzales run out the south end and start radioing traffic of what's going on to our responding officers.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself, y'all do run out the back end?
Yes, sir.
And that's
South end.
about the south end?
Yes, sir.
That's about 30, 35 seconds after this discussion about how.
It's difficult for me to tell exactly seconds and how long it took, but yes, sir, that's what happened.
But your body camera was working during that
Yes,
period
sir.
of time?
Mm-hmm.
And does your body camera pick up not only visual, but also the sound?
Yes, sir.
And did it pick up the sound of a discussion that happened before you exited the south end?
After reviewing my camera, yes, sir.
And what was that discussion?
I believe it was a conversation between Adrian Gonzales and Pete Arredondo.
And what was the conversation?
There was some discussion about calling SWAT.
Okay. And that was between this defendant, Adrian Gonzales, and Pete Arredondo?
Yes, sir.
Within seconds of when there was actually shots being fired
Yes.
from inside a classroom,
Yes, sir.
Adrian Gonzales and Chief Arredondo were discussing calling SWAT.
Yes, sir.
And would that be the opposite of confronting the shooter?
Would be the opposite? No, I think we were trying to formulate a plan to confront the shooter.
And that would be to call SWAT,
Yes, sir.
wait for SWAT to get there.
Well, I don't know if they were necessarily waiting on SWAT. I know that I think that they had determined that we were, so I can't answer as to what they were thinking, but
No, I just asked you.
Sure.
Okay, fair enough, it was just call SWAT.
That's it. That's all I can tell you. Yes, sir. After reviewing the camera, they had mentioned something about calling SWAT. Yes, sir.
And then y'all moved out, you and Adrian Gonzales moved out of the south wing.
Yes, sir.
And did Adrian Gonzales call for SWAT?
Yes, sir. I believe he did.
And what did you do with your communications at that time?
I noticed that whenever I exited the building, Adrian immediately immediately positioned himself on the east side, on the south side, but the east side of the building, on the corner. I looked and I noticed that he had his pistols drawn and he was covering the east side of the building because we both were concerned that he might jump out. We had officers that were already in the hallway, and Adrian immediately positioned himself on the corner, watching the windows.
And as to those two officers, Adrian Gonzales and Pete Arredondo, who would have been of the highest rank?
Well, Chief Arredondo.
And did you ever go back into that west wing?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you ever see Adrian Gonzales go back into the west wing?
I do not recall. I don't remember specifically.
Okay.
I saw him throughout the incident.
Sure. So now I want to ask you, you have had a chance to review the dash cam
Mm-hmm.
as far as when it first turns on.
Yes, sir.
And until you leave with Arredondo at the front of the school.
Mhm.
Correct? State Officers Exhibits 1040. It just stops after. It's just the critical time. I'll ask it.
Based off Mr. Turner's representations to me, Judge, about this video, no objections.
Submitted.
And so the dash cam, as far as its relevance to the jury, it will show when it turned on while you're at the intersection, is that correct?
Say it again, sir.
As far as the relevance to your testimony,
Yes, sir.
the dash cam will show when it turned on and where your vehicle was and the people in front of the dash.
Everything that I testified to, yes, sir.
All the way up to the north end where you parked.
Correct.
And then at some point, you and Arredondo leave the side of the dash cam.
Yes, sir.
And that's the only relevant part the dash cam picked up as to what your actions were at your testimony.
Yes, that's fair.
May we display Exhibit 1040 to the jury?
Yes.
And I want you to get started and stop it real quick and just point at the direction. Okay, could you stop it? know that you weren't worried about the exact times or seconds, but it's the time and seconds up there on the top left.
11:33:07.
Okay. And you don't know if somebody has synchronized that to make that comment?
No, sir.
Okay. So tell us what is in the foreground at the very bottom of the picture.
Can you explain me?
The black.
This is the hood of my my assigned vehicle.
Okay. And tell us about the other two cars in that photograph.
There are two other vehicles that were here positioned facing eastbound. This is Officer Blue Mendoza, and this is Officer Salcedo.
Blue Mendoza?
Yes, sir. Jesus Mendoza.
Jesus,
Yes,
but you
sir.
also call him Blue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the other officer?
Officer Salcedo, Juan Salcedo.
Okay. And is that an accurate depiction of, are you there also?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
You're in the lead? And is this where you're looking up over the car?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, this is where I turn left, and I'm yelling at the individuals at the funeral home to get back inside.
Okay. Now,
This is
we
what
can
I
have a
was.
seat. We'll just play it through at
Okay.
the ends, and then I'm going to have some questions. Okay, could we stop it there? So this is the point that you get in the car to drive north?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? And we're a little ahead of it, but this time it says 11:33:34.
Yes, sir.
You've already pulled out and are on the way down.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, could you stop it? So a few seconds before 11:34:11, a vehicle appears on your dash cam. Whose vehicle is that?
That's Chief Pete Arredondo.
And so the dash cam then picks up what happened with Chief Arredondo, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And would you describe who that is in the picture on the far left? Far right? Could you back it up?
Chief Pete Arredondo.
Okay. And are you in that photograph?
Yes, sir.
Where are you? Okay, and this is 11.
Well, actually, no, that's not me.
Okay, let's back it up just a little bit more. If you'll play it from there and tell us where to stop when we see you.
I think that's me right there. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, let's stop it and go back. What are Pete Arredondo? Were you still in your car when Arredondo arrived?
No, sir. I don't believe so.
You were already out.
I got out of my vehicle, and like I said, I heard a vehicle coming at a high rate of speed, which was him. I also.
As we watch this, I just wanted you to be able to point out if you saw yourself. We can start there. Tell us to stop if you see yourself.
exactly, that could be me right there, I'm not exactly for certain, sir.
Okay. Coming in front of the car,
Yes, sir.
but is that consistent with you following Arredondo in the
Yes, sir.
building?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you go ahead and play for me. Okay. Is that a fair and accurate depiction then of you coming to the intersection, receiving gunfire, being told the location and driving, and then
Yes, sir.
your dash cam is of no real relevance as far as what you did from that point on, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then took the path that you described for the jury.
Yes, sir.
And at the point where you have explained to us, you turned on the body cam.
Yes, sir.
And does that then show the additional movements that you had in relationship to other officers?
Yes, sir.
And this is not just video, but audio, is that correct?
Not the dash cam. The dash cam doesn't have any audio, but the body cam, as soon as I activate it, I believe seconds after I activate it, the audio picks up.
Thank you. Tendering State Exhibit 1041 to the defense, and this is the body worn camera, and it contains about 15 minutes of, yes, and it stops before children are evacuated, way before.
Based off his representation, Judge, no objection.
Okay, submitted.
May be displayed.
Yes.
What?
And so, does this show a fair representation of where you are
Yes, sir.
when you activate your body cam?
Yes, sir.
And who is in front of you?
Pete Artillano.
Thank you. Stop.
Guys, me!
Okay. Does the body camera now show police cars
Yes, sir.
and also the general location of these two men that,
I can't make an accurate, I can't see the two individuals right now.
they're kind of small?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you'll go ahead and go. Thank you.
Careful! You might be in that building!
Stop. So did you see them in?
Yes, sir, I did.
And so by the cars that we just saw, where were these two men?
They were in front of, or I'm sorry, next to the south entrance of that building.
Okay. Between the cars and the south.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Uvalde, they're saying that he's possibly in the building on the... Oh shit, shots fired! Get inside! Go, go, go!
Laying on Dia Street. The one female shot in the head.
I'm sorry to interrupt there, but that's kind of an odd dispatch that comes to you.
I thought so too, yes, sir.
A female shot in the head on Dia Street.
Yes, sir.
But that comes in after you've already made your trip around the elementary school and just before you're going in. To
Yes,
the
sir.
south entrance. And is that the first time you'd heard that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Shots fired inside the building, Uvalde!
Which building?
Earlier in your testimony, you said that it was dark.
Yes, sir.
Does it appear that there are lights on?
I don't know if those are lights or skylights.
Okay. But is this the condition that you saw the hallway in?
Yes, sir.
Could you see other officers?
I could see other officers in front of me, yes, sir.
Thank you. And who are these officers depicted in your body cam?
I believe Adrian Gonzales and Chief Arredondo.
Okay. Thank you.
Careful, guys, shot one. Can't wait to hear somebody. Take cover there.
Did we just hear the words "get SWAT"? Get SWAT?
Yes, sir.
And who was that conversation between?
I believe it was with Chief Arredondo and Adrian Gonzales.
Okay. And was this on a school campus?
Yes, sir.
And it's because it's on a school campus, who had primary jurisdiction?
School police.
And you were there to assist?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Attention, zero. Shot still going, step fired. That's what you need to run. If you hear it, you run SWAT.
Stay right there, guys.
Was that east corner that you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
And was Adrian Gonzales at that east corner? at that
He does
point?
get there, yes, sir.
Oh, he's not there at that point, but
Right.
he does get there.
Yes, sir. I think we were trying to advise officers that were approaching where the shooter was possibly located.
Thank you. And when we see Adrian Gonzales, just tell us to stop and we'll
Sure.
stop.
Okay, guys. He's on inside this building. We have him contained. He's gonna be on the building on the west side of the property. Careful with the windows facing east. Right there. Have a
And an officer outside said, see that window shot out there? He's gonna be in that room?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Adrian Gonzales.
So he was aware of that defect in the window on down the road?
I don't know about a defect, but we knew he was trying to advise officers where he was inside the building, more or less.
Okay. Based on a window on that east side?
I don't know if he saw anything in the window. I just know that that's what he was trying to. He was concerned with officers approaching is what was going on.
And we're still looking at that east corner. Is Adrian Gonzales posted at that east corner?
At this point, no.
Okay.
no subject with an AR.
That's what you also get in there, don't hit it. Possible, officer shot. Okay.
Is Adrian Gonzales anywhere at that point, or maybe you could point out for us where he is?
I think as I move over to my left, he's on the right of me, on the right side of me. I'm not sure.
Did you see him as we were panning that?
Can you rewind it?
Yes, please. And tell us where you see him here.
They are.
Also, you also get in there, down here, opposite shop.
He was right behind that bush.
Behind the bush?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, they also give us these 555 gears, 555 gears, US needed stat. That's where we're at.
Okay. And what do we see here?
It's Adrian Gonzales.
Okay. And is this when he approaches that east side that you were talking about?
Well, and earlier when you asked me if I had seen him, he was looking on the east side of the building behind the bush. You couldn't see him really well, but I could see his feet there. He was like I said, concerned with individuals approaching the east side of the building, and he figured, just like I did and everybody else.
Now you're telling us what he was thinking?
I'm
Would
sorry?
he let his witness answer the question, please? It's his witness, and he asked him a question, he's trying to answer it. It's on direct.
Go ahead and finish your answer, sir.
So again, he was positioned on the east side. As officers were approaching, he was yelling at them to be careful because the shooter was on that side of the building from the information that we had, and I think he was concerned with officers approaching.
Sure. I was just trying to understand the difference between him being on that building versus back behind the bush.
Well, the way he was positioned, I think he was trying to get around to see what was going on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. All you saw was what you saw.
All I saw is what I saw. Yes, sir.
Fair enough. And could we run that through, and did you see more of Adrian Gonzales at this point? Sorry. Well, go ahead. And now is this the first time you've seen him positioned at this corner of the building?
If you were asking me if his head is on the corner of the building, yeah, that's the moment he stops at the corner. But I mean, he's on that area right then and there from the moment I explained to you that I saw him on the camera.
As it's just clear from your body cam where he was, we can watch.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hold on, guys. Then I need any available unit. Go ahead and bring shields from the PD, please.
Feel free, guys, any distance to my house, any agency available.
Over here. He's in the middle. Careful.
And where is Adrian, is that Adrian Gonzales?
Yes, sir.
And where is his weapon?
He has his weapon holstered at this point.
It's holstered.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh. Then, can you contact DPS as well? I'm sure they're aware. Get a helo above the area. Also, if they have any ballistic shields, make a location.
Gonna be right next to the school.
Tip where he's, no subjects in the school. On the west side of the building, he's contained. We got multiple officers inside the building at this time. We believe he's barricaded in one of the offices. Messed up is still shooting.
What equipment do you need from the PD?
Tip for whatever we have, we're definitely gonna need some flashbangs if we have any.
Is it gonna be locked?
I'm not sure, but we have a housing tool break it.
I'll pick up our way out.
Guys, careful! in the window.
I was honest with the office at Robb School.
So, what was called? Call. So does he miss me at this costume? See if the cops is in there right now or if they're calling out. Again, it's me, this is costume. $35. All right, thanks. Switch over to PD primary. Switch to PD primary.
Go ahead and see if you got the a mirror too. There should be a mirror there, so that we can go ahead and look around corners here.
122. 2 units. The classroom should be in session right now. The class should be in session. It's minute. 19, you said it.
Oh no.
Uvalde PD is just advised, 401 stating you've got the shooter number 1 and then 1 code. He's going to be armed with the rifle. Repeat, armed with the rifle. He's requesting for a swap by the serial number to the top of the building.
I don't know, 412. I don't know what she said.
703, now they want to give you a 28. That is going to be the suspect's vehicle. Frank Noah King, 5522. Frank Noah King, 5522.
I know, it's 1050.
833, 304, where do you need me at? Go back over to school, at the south side. Yeah, boy. You have a lot of people pulling up on, over here by the funeral home as well.
10-4. Have some officers that are available. Keep everybody back.
For 2 units, I've got 2 ESO deputies on location as well. We're just east of the building.
Does anybody have flashbangs?
All PD units, were you clear? Were you clear with my location with 401 with the shooter inside the building?
Three windows on fire, now show me on the here around.
I saw a teacher on the ground and I thought she had tackled someone.
Who said I saw a teacher on the ground and I thought she tackled somebody?
Adrian Gonzales.
She didn't say, I thought she had a gun.
I'm sorry?
He didn't say, I thought she had a gun.
No.
I saw a teacher on the ground and I thought she tackled somebody.
Yes, sir.
So when I came up, she was by her side. I saw her running and I called the desk. I thought she tackled somebody.
Hey, 911, can you call the Del Rio office, let them know what's going on, see if, somebody saw it?
Hold on there, Montana, Montana.
They're not going. Keep it clear because that's all I'm in sight.
straight to Corn, what's your point?
I'm over here on the south side of that building that we have him in. If you can, go through Geraldine, and there's a parking lot. You should be okay. We got coverage over here on the west end of the building. No, she has tools.
Yes, sir.
Uvalde. If you haven't already, get a hold of BP as well. Just to let you know, we do have a suspect that's been seen in the classroom. The windows are facing east. We have officers surrounding the area. We also have officers inside the building. We got cover on the west side of the building. It's a brick building. He's shot several times out the window towards the east.
We do have 2 deputies east of the building, just southeast.
Hello. Yes.
Oh, no, no, BP lab is sitting.
Hello? Man, we have a shooter inside the school. I can't talk right now. Lock down the high school too, just because the parents are going to go crazy. 309 Uvalde. We're attempting to locate, contact all the schools.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction then of the first few minutes that you arrived?
Yes, sir.
At Uvalde, Robb Elementary School?
Yes, sir.
In Uvalde.
Mhm.
And am I correct? Well, let me just ask. About where were you when you saw the 2 officers? Did you later find out the 2 officers, Adrian Gonzales and Donna Page, did you testify?
Yes, sir.
Where were you when you saw those 2 officers?
Right about here, sir, in the breezeway here.
And they had not been in, they were not in the school at that point?
No.
And so, from that point, would you backtrack where you had come before you first saw Adrian Gonzales?
As I explained earlier, I came down this breezeway here and up this sidewalk between the office and the cafeteria and through the drop-off area, the student drop-off, and where I parked my Tahoe.
And in your car, where did you backtrack for your car?
So from here, from the front of the school, from the northeast corner front of school, I drove from Geraldine, right, crossed over this front lawn here through Geraldine and to the intersection of Grove and Geraldine Street.
And backing up from there, that's where we see you at the intersection?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
10 State's Exhibits 1049 through 1056 for the defense.
objection, Judge.
All right, they're admitted.
And they were displayed in the honor.
Yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 1049. Can you tell us the time that is depicted there?
11:35:20.
And the man in front of you?
Chief Pete Arredondo.
And you may have to approach the screen to tell, but do you see the two police cars there?
Yes, sir.
And do you see the small figures of the two officers?
Yes, sir.
Would you point those out with your stick? So would they be closer to their police units or the south entrance at that point?
They're next to the patrol units, yes, sir.
Thank you. In State's Exhibit 1050, can you tell us what we're looking at here?
Looks like Chief Pete Arredondo.
And where is he on that diagram?
That's as we're approaching the that west building on the south
Does he appear
end.
to be at that sidewalk, that crosswalk?
Yes, sir.
And would you point out on the board what we're talking about the park, about the sidewalk?
Yes, sir. He's right about here.
Right on that crosswalk,
Yes, sir.
just as he's leaving the crosswalk?
Yes, sir.
And where is the closest police vehicle on this map at this point?
Somewhere in this area right here. I'm not exactly certain.
Okay, we'll go back and see it in a minute.
Sure.
Fair enough. And the time is
11:30, 5:39.
11:35. And the next photograph, Exhibit 1051. What is the time?
11:35:50.
So this is about 11 seconds later. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
At that point.
Yes, sir. He's approaching the south entrance.
And to be fair, he's not actually at the south entrance at that point. Is that correct?
No, he's approaching the south entrance.
He's still a couple of steps away.
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, your arm is in the way of some of this. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Bouncing up and down.
No, sir. I'm actually activating the button on my radio.
Okay. But that your arm is moving.
Is
up
it?
and down
Yes, sir.
because you're in action.
Correct.
So he is at this point, has he crossed that area and is about parallel with that east side of the building?
Yes, sir.
Still has a few steps before he gets into the south.
Couple steps. Yes, sir.
But that's about 11 seconds.
Yes, sir. According to that timestamp up on top.
Okay. And now showing you State's Exhibit 1052. Do you see Adrian Gonzales in that photograph?
Yes, sir.
And would you point him out?
Yes, sir. He's standing on the corner there.
And would you point out the white police vehicle in that photograph? Thank you. And as the photograph when we saw Arredondo leaving the sidewalk, about where would that have been? So it's about, in general, about the same distance from the vehicle to that south door as it is from
It's
that
really
side.
hard to tell distance with those pictures. I really can't get a good. You're looking at a picture facing that way. It's hard to tell exactly the
Okay.
distance. I could tell you where they're positioned, but it's difficult for me to say.
If you're just on State's Exhibit 1, if you're pointing out again where the photograph that showed her gondola on the crosswalk?
Right about there, yes, sir.
And the vehicle that we see in this exhibit is on the screen,
It's south of the sidewalk here,
right about there.
somewhere around here, yes, sir.
So we're not saying exact, but in general, the same distance.
I'm sorry, same distance to
We're not
what?
saying the exact distance, but in general, the same distance from this crosswalk to the south door as from the police vehicle to the south door.
Yes, sir, I mean, within a couple, yeah, in general, yes.
And we could ask somebody that's actually measured it.
Sure.
And they could tell us exactly.
Sure.
Fair enough. And exhibit 1053, what are we looking at here?
It looks to be the parking lot of, on the west side of that building.
And that was the condition it was in when you were out there?
To my knowledge, yes, sir.
Because this is your body camera? isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And so is that the condition of the cars that were there during,
No cars were moving in and out, no, sir, not that I'm aware of.
so that would have been the condition of the parking lot? as you
Yes,
saw
sir.
it. And moving down that parking lot, exhibit 1054, does that move down the parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Is that also accurate?
Yes, sir.
And exhibit 1055, is that also accurate?
Yes, sir.
And finally, exhibit 1056.
Yes, sir.
And is this the far north end of the parking lot?
It's hard for me to tell where it's, I don't know if it's a far, I can tell you it's on that parking lot, the west end parking lot.
Okay, could you point out the vehicles that we see there?
I see 7 vehicles in that frame.
Okay, could you point them out? Thank you. And also showing you State's Exhibit 1. Which parking lot does the photograph that's being displayed show?
Right here, sir.
And this last photograph, does it show what area of that parking lot that we're talking about?
Yes, sir. I don't, what exactly, I don't know what that is.
Not part of the parking lot,
I don't know what that is.
okay? I'm asking about the parking lot.
No, I'm explaining, this is exactly what the parking lot, I don't know what that is, but.
Okay. Yeah, my question is, if you show.
I apologize, I'm just explaining what I'm seeing
Sure,
here.
that's fine.
But yes, this is the parking lot that you're talking about.
And this photograph specifically, which part of the parking lot?
This part of the parking lot, right here.
Okay. And where were your officers parked at the intersection?
Over here, sir.
And so looking toward that building, would you draw a line, what a direct line of sight would be to that park? Okay, and to the cars that we just saw?
The way they were positioned and what they were looking, it was anywhere from this area here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And the parking lot here, these cars that you just described,
Yes, sir.
and from this position,
Yes, sir.
would these cars be between the building and the line of sight?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And officer, have you trained about when you actually fire a shot?
Yes, sir.
And when you fire a shot, you're responsible for where that shot goes?
Yes, sir.
So what do you pay attention to when you're looking at not only a target? Do you look at other things?
First, you have to determine the target and see your target. And then you have to, it's also, you have to be aware of the backdrop.
What is backdrop?
Directly, whatever's behind your target.
Okay. And why do you want to be aware of the backdrop of what's behind the target?
Well, rounds, even if you hit your target, rounds can go through your target. Rounds can go if you don't hit your target, you're also, you could possibly hit what you don't intend to. So you have to be aware of the backdrop.
Okay. And in this case, from the position that you and the other officers were, looking toward the school, and that area of cars I just spoke about,
Yes, sir.
is there a backdrop there that concerns you?
Well, the entire area concerns me. I mean, we're talking about a school, and yeah, there's a building here that belongs to the school.
And not only the building, but as the building, could you tell us what it was made up of, what the construction was, just in general terms?
Well, this is a brick building here, and there's cars all parked through here. Is that what you're asking?
Are there windows?
There's windows, yes, sir, all through here, yes, sir.
And can bullets penetrate windows?
Yes, sir.
And after penetrating the window, is it still dangerous?
Well, not only that, but you also have a building over here, buildings over here as well. From the position we're at, I mean, there's the line of sight. There's several buildings
Okay. With windows?
with windows, yes, sir.
And did you come to know that this is a classroom, a building full of classrooms?
Yes, sir.
And it was a school day
Yes, sir. Well, yes, sir.
during school hours?
During school hours, yes, sir.
And if your men are here, that would be a backdrop to be concerned about?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Would you send a round down that way with that backdrop?
Not unless I'm certain, and not unless I'm quite certain that I'm going to hit my target. I definitely would be concerned with my backdrop for sure.
And you said that was over 100 yards, 130 yards?
About 130 yards, yes, sir. Over a football field.
Is that a pretty good distance?
It's much more than what we train, yes, sir.
Okay. So what is your training distance with a rifle?
I think the max that we shoot are 50 yards.
So this would be twice as far as you normally train?
Over half.
Because while you were there at that intersection, did you get any requests from your officer?
Yes, sir, I did.
Tell the jury what that request was.
At some point from the time I exited my patrol vehicle to the time I made it to these two officers that were there pinned down, Officer Saucelo had said permission to fire. He made that comment.
Okay. Did you respond?
I did not respond.
Did you see what his backdrop was?
I knew what his backdrop was, yes. I don't know for certain, but I know there was a backdrop of a school, yes, sir.
And when that request came to you, did that seem odd to you?
It did seem odd to me, yes, sir.
Explain that to the jury.
Well, typically when you're being shot at and you have an individual that you see if you do see an individual with a gun, I've never been asked or have ever heard of anyone asking for permission to fire. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking or why he said that. I don't know if his concern was, and he just wanted to clarify with me.
Judge, I'm going to object to speculation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking.
I don't want to ask you what he was thinking. Did he ask you that question?
He did ask me that question, yes. I can answer what I saw and what I knew.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
And so you did not see specifically his backdrop?
I did not.
In general terms, his backdrop?
Correct.
Would it have been irresponsible for you to give him direction, not knowing the specifics of his backdrop?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you did not respond, did you?
I did not respond, no. Well,
or did you? I'm sorry.
No, I did not respond, but the thing is that happened within 1 or 2, 3 seconds. I mean, you can clearly look on my dash cam from the minute I get there to a couple seconds is all it took for me to get in my vehicle because they were yelling at me. In between from then until I was trying to comprehend what was going on. I was getting a lot of information. I was trying to determine where this guy was, And in the middle of all that, he says, I think I see him, permission to fire. And for maybe a second or two, then at that point, then I heard the individuals yelling, he's going towards the school, and left and drove towards the front of the school. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, before coming here today, did we also ask you to listen to the dispatch that occurred that first 6 or 7 minutes?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to listen to that dispatch?
I was.
And were you able to recognize your voice on that dispatch?
As best I could. I have a pretty similar voice to Adrian Gonzales.
Okay. And did you also, were you able to identify Adrian Gonzales' voice on
As
that?
best I could, yes, sir. I remember what I was saying on the radio, I think, is what I determined.
You remembered what you said?
Yes, sir.
So that helped you identify your voice?
Correct.
And then you remember, or thing that you did not say would not be your voice?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And your voice is similar to Adrian's?
Somewhat, yes, sir.
Okay.
I could see where a similarity was. I was trying to distinguish between the two.
And when you previously listened to those dispatches, were you able to identify Adrian Gonzales' voice on the dispatch?
I believe so.
And may we approach him?
Okay. You want me to approach you though?
Yes, please.
Let's try to get about 10 minutes. We will resume with this witness as soon as y'all all get back. Will everyone rise for the jury? examination?
The state's office is 1039, 1039, and has been admitted, Your Honor. We now ask the same for this witness so that he can identify the voices.
All right, proceed. Thank you.
And before we do that, I'm going to be referring to numbers of time on my document. I've spoken to the defense, and we're in agreement that these are not accurate as to the actual times. It's just with the instrument placed on there for the time.
Okay.
Okay? And I just want to make that clear for us as we start. And so as to the radio traffic that is timed by the machine is 11:29:43. I'm going to play that for you and ask you if you can identify either specifically or generally who that is.
Really good.
11:15, if I can have you around to 715 Oak Creek Road. Road have a one vehicle accident, white pickup truck crashed in the ditch. Have a caller advising male subject has a gun. Real advice, shots fired, shots fired. Channel close.
And so did you recognize that voice?
The dispatch?
So that was the dispatcher?
Yes, it was dispatch advising the traffic for 315.
First, that there was a wreck?
Yes, that there was a wreck and that the complainant had advised that there was a gun involved, and then seconds later, shots fired is what she said.
Okay. And is this what drew your attention to get in your vehicle and go?
Yes, sir, I
forward?
believe so, yes, sir.
Thank you. 11:30:15 is what his designation is?
Location of PD traffic road.
Geraldine and Old Creek Road, Geraldine and Old Creek Road.
Do you recognize those voices?
It's the dispatch advising the officer that had requested what the traffic was, which was to say what's going on.
And if you don't know, that's fine too, but the officer, did you know who that was?
It's been a number of years.
Fair enough. Next dispatch?
New advice that subjects jump the fence, they're gonna be in the school.
And who was that voice?
Dispatch.
Thank you. The next one.
You know, is there any smoking in it?
What clear responding from the PD?
That's mine.
That's you?
Yes, sir.
You notified dispatch you're responding from PD?
Correct.
And is that standard operating procedure?
Yes, I'm advising that I'm en route to assist.
Thank you. The next one.
What is your route?
Okay.
Your location?
715 Oak Creek Road has several subjects running.
Beautiful, Robbie. Did you go and notify the school at Robb School?
Is that an officer saying notify Robb School?
Yes, sir. I believe dispatch was advising that there were several subjects running.
Okay. And did you know who the officer was that says advise Robb School?
I couldn't not with that clip, but there was an officer responding.
Thank you. The next clip.
We heard something to good officers.
Good, you just advised you to go ahead and tell the school to shut down.
So we're trying to make contact with them right now.
That was me advising dispatch to shut the school down.
So as you're driving over there, you're thinking about things that would be to the benefit of the community.
Right. Well, again, yes, sir, because we're responding to a crash where someone had a gun and had shot rounds, apparently, from what the dispatch advised. And so given the close proximity of the school, I'm asking them to go ahead and shut them down if they haven't already.
Thank you. And what's your call number?
309.
Okay, so when we hear 309, that's you.
That's me, yes, sir.
Next one.
3101, is somebody coming up at 60? Can you just pick another subject?
That's Blue Mendoza. Jesus Mendoza.
Yes, go ahead, sir, for further, see if you get there. 10-4, I'm coming up to Uvalde.
I believe that's going to be,
Turning up, do you have a description yet?
Not at this time, sir. Caller cannot remember what you were wearing.
I have one other complaint on the line, and I was looking at black jeans, correction, black and jeans. The application was jumping over the fence into the schoolyard. Stop fire, you got me about school. Okay, well, call 23.
And so there's a description given,
yes, sir,
and that's by who?
dispatch.
And what is the description?
Can you replay that just so I can, because I'm, at the same time you're asking, I'm trying to figure out who's saying what.
That's not fair to you, is it? Okay, let's go about halfway by.
Not at this time, sir. Caller cannot remember what you were wearing.
I have one other complaint on the line, and I was looking at black jeans, correction, black and jeans. The application was jumping over the fence into the schoolyard.
Wearing black and jeans.
Stop fire, you got me about school.
And who is saying sharp?
Okay, well, call 23.
That's Jesus Mendoza.
Jesus Mendoza?
Blue.
Blue. Thank you. And the next one?
Make contact with the right unit that's coming behind us. Geraldine, he's behind the school.
Who's that?
Sounds like Adrian Gonzales.
Adrian Gonzales is saying the location at this point.
Can you replay that just so I can?
Yes.
Make contact with the right unit that's coming behind us. Geraldine, he's behind the school.
Yes, he's behind the school, he says.
Judge, pursuant to officer completeness, can they play the rest of that? It
Yes,
says
please do.
behind the school, supposedly wearing black. Can you please play the rest of it?
I didn't know we turned it off, I'm sorry.
It's turned off.
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish it up if you're gonna ask more questions about it.
Can you play the whole clip? The rest of it?
Play the,
Or
play
did
the
you, or did you clip just that part?
No, it's the next call.
Okay, it's the next call. We didn't do
Or,
that right.
or you can play when you get the witness, but
Yes, sir.
let's proceed.
Go ahead.
Over, guys, it's over, stop fire. Stand back, we got fired. Stand back.
Unit advised caller stating that Malcolm is going to be back at the school,
Gonna be on the back school, on the west side of the school by the vehicles.
And who was it that said on the west side of the school by the vehicles?
I believe that was Adrian Gonzales.
Thank you.
And Judge, that's the point where he says supposed to be wearing black, so can you play the rest of that?
Well, once again, if you wanna play it when you get the witness, you can play it when you get the witness, but let's finish it up.
And the next one?
Supposed to be wearing all black, all black.
That was Adrian Gonzales, yes, sir.
And that's just on the same, it's on the very next segment, is that correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Sit down right here.
You know who that was?
No, sir.
There you go. Hey, he made it into the building, guys.
That was me.
That's you?
Yes, sir.
And when did you make the statement, I think he made it into the building, guy?
As I was running up the breezeway.
Okay. And we hear that on your body cam, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The next one?
Contact the school police. Three was up on Monday, the 3 units are not school. 3 was up on as well.
Do you know who that was?
No, sir.
Okay. Next one?
Be clear on the topic. Guys, somebody stay back over there. You have a perimeter on the other side. Somebody stay over there. There, Chapa, go back over there. Somebody can give me a cover over here on the. Knock it off, knock it off.
So at that point, I believe it's going to be me and Adrian communicating relatively at the same time.
About setting up a perimeter?
Well, yes, sir. Asking officers or advising officers. I believe it's also on my body cam where officers are approaching and we're explaining to them that this is where shots are either coming from or where the individual's at, the suspect.
Okay, thank you.
For the third one, I'm gonna go to that north road.
Yeah, switch over to PD card. PD card.
Were you able to recognize that?
I don't, no, sir.
Okay, next one?
Somebody can give me some cover unit over here. Back perimeter by gym.
That was Adrian Gonzales, I believe.
Right there, unit, right there. I need somebody come into a parking lot, 304.
I believe that was Adrian Gonzales.
And is that why you're saying give me some cover over here?
Yes, sir. I believe he was trying to. Again,
Well,
you're
I
asking.
just, what you said, what you took from what you said.
Well, from what he's saying right there on the radio transmission, he's asking 304, which I believe is going to be Mariano Vargas. He's directing him where to go.
Regarding cover for him.
I don't.
Oh, let's play it again and see if
Sure.
that helps.
Somebody can give me some cover unit over here.
Stop.
So he's requesting a cover unit, yes, sir.
A cover unit? What
That's
does that mean?
another unit to assist.
And what does cover mean?
So if I'm requesting a cover unit, it's backup, another unit.
Okay, thank you. Next, go ahead and play it all the way.
Back perimeter by gym. Right there, unit, right there. I need somebody come into a parking lot, 304.
And who's that?
Sounds like Blue Mendoza. I'm not sure. Jesus Mendoza.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Yes, this way.
You recognize that? When, on the statement where Adrian Gonzales is asking 304 for cover,
Mm-hmm.
did that happen before y'all went in the building or after?
That's going to be after, I believe.
Okay. And were you already there?
Yes, sir. If you, do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please.
So most of the radio traffic that you're playing is after we already went inside and then came out, and we're trying to direct individuals to where the incident's happening. It's unclear whether they know or not, but we're advising responding officers and where to position themselves and where cover is, where the best approach is. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So this is after you yell shots fired, get inside the building.
Yes, it's after we already have entered the building and have come back out when we're asking for radio to break.
You've already been in the hallway.
Yes, sir.
Where shots are fired,
Yes, sir.
and there's shots that have gone through walls,
Yes, sir.
and you know it's classrooms
Yes, sir.
during a school day
Yes, sir.
at a school grounds,
On school grounds, yes, sir.
and Adrian Gonzales is asking for cover.
He's asking for a cover unit, yes, sir.
Next one.
You may be inside the building.
And whose voice was that?
I don't know. I can't distinguish.
Do you know what the statement was?
No, sir.
Could we play it again?
That was a
You may be
700.
inside the building.
I don't know who that chimed in, but a 700 unit is going to be a county unit.
Well, what was the statement that was made?
I believe he said he may be in the building. Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that what you heard?
Yes.
That's what I heard.
You heard he may be inside the building?
Yes.
Does that indicate that at that point they don't know who's inside the building?
Right. Yes, sir. I believe so.
And who was that made that vote?
I don't know.
And the next one.
The 701 Uvalde has been advised that there's a woman that's been shot in the head off of Diaz Street. Woman shot in the head off of Diaz Street by a unknown subject.
And do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
Sheriff.
And I believe on your body cam, you showed us where you were when you heard that call come in from the sheriff.
It's difficult to say because I don't know if he's repeating information or if that's the initial time he requested it. It's difficult for me to say accurately if that's another time that he's broadcasting. I don't know for certain where in the timeline that happened. Does that make sense?
Sure. So you didn't hear the dispatcher yesterday say that she provided all of the communications for a 6-minute period of time?
Are you asking me if I heard dispatch say that?
No.
I haven't.
Okay. And had you heard that, as we played it all going down the list, have you heard any other communication about a woman being shot on the head on Diaz Street?
The first time I hear that was as I'm approaching the south side of the building, as I'm running into the building. But I don't necessarily know if that's the last time someone relays that information or says it on the radio. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And this morning, as you've listened to us go down this list, have you heard that communication any other time other than this time?
I don't believe so.
Next one.
Still time.
That was a pretty short clip.
I have no idea.
Thank you. The next one.
We got a shield, we have a shield. Okay. The buildings are saying that he's possibly in the building on the 701 meeting unit got a report of a woman shot in the head laying on Diaz Street. The one female shot in the head.
And did you recognize those voices?
Yes.
And who was it that said he's possibly in the building?
So I'm a little lost in the flow of things, but if you're asking me right then and there, that I can remember going over reviewing my camera, my body camera. That's whenever the sheriff is saying that there was a woman shot on Diaz Street.
And is that when you said he's possibly in the building?
Yes.
Okay. Does that give us kind of context?
Yes.
Okay. And the next one.
It's just hard for
I'm
me.
sorry, stop. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm
I
just
didn't want two things.
no, sir. So it's hard for me to distinguish what other people are transmitting or what they're saying. I know you're asking me to identify, it's just, I'm trying to answer the question as far as where did it happen, when did it happen. It's just, and it's hard for me because I didn't make any of those transmissions. For the ones that I'm pointing out to you, I can explain who. It's just difficult for me. You're asking me if we had already made
That's fair, and I'm really asking you to identify the voices that you can identify.
Okay.
Right, that's the purpose of
Yes, sir.
playing these for you. Thank you. Next one.
Excuse me.
That was me, yes, sir.
Okay. And is that what we also saw on your body cam?
Yes, sir.
And the next.
Was that the last one?
So have you done what you could do to help us identify the voices that were there?
As best as to my knowledge and what I could, yes, sir.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
May I proceed, Judge?
Please.
Good morning. If I call you Sergeant Coronado, it's only because I've been looking for weeks and weeks
I
and weeks
understand, yes,
at
sir.
reports. But do you prefer Mr. Coronado, or does it matter if I do either one?
It doesn't matter,
Okay.
sir.
We saw each other yesterday in court, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you know that I'm one of the lawyers representing Adrian.
Yes, sir.
And have you ever testified before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in criminal cases?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you understand cross-examination.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna ask you questions, and I wanna tell you ahead of time. I'm gonna ask you specific questions.
Okay.
And I'm gonna push back on you, okay? A
Mhm.
little bit?
Yes, sir.
A lot of it, I'm sorry. And I'm not questioning your character. I wanna make sure you understand that, but I am gonna question your decisions and your perception.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. But if I get out of line, just say, Nico, you're out of line, or something like that, or repeat a question.
I
I
definitely
talk
will.
fast sometimes, and so I'll repeat that, okay?
I will, yes, sir.
Okay. So when we talk about jurisdiction,
Mm-hmm.
a Texas peace officer has jurisdiction everywhere in Texas,
Yes, sir.
right? I mean, so you have duties. County sheriffs will deal with the county. City municipalities will deal with the city inside of a county, correct?
Correct.
School officers primarily are assigned to schools, but if they see something or vice versa, you're a Texas peace officer.
Correct, yes, sir.
So the whole discussion about, that just has to do with your job description, not your authority under Texas law.
I'm not gonna conduct a traffic stop outside of my jurisdiction, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir, I understand that.
My-
But you as a Texas peace officer can make arrests and you can respond to crimes.
Yes.
Yes, that's all I'm trying to do.
Okay. Yes,
So, the government also asked you about body worn camera, and we saw dashboard. We're gonna talk about both of those.
Dash cam.
And when we say dash cam, that dash camera, so we say dash cam as a slang to say dash camera, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And dash means dashboard.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so body worn cameras, as you know, can be helpful,
Yes, sir.
but they also can be taken out of context.
Yes, sir.
Is that a fair statement? Because when someone's wearing a body worn camera, it's kind of like maybe a body worn camera, and a lot of people wear it on their sternums.
Mm-hmm.
When they first came out, some people kind of wore them up on their lapels.
Yes, sir.
And it was kind of weird. But so people wear them on their sternums because it's center mass, right?
Yes, sir.
And so if I turn my torso, I'm gonna hopefully get what I'm turning my torso to, correct?
Yes, sir.
But if my torso is facing the audience and I do this camera's not gonna pick it up.
That's correct.
And so that's why I'm saying context can be taken out when you solely depend on body worn cameras, but they're helpful.
Yes, sir.
And so you were at your office on the day of incident.
Yes, sir.
And you were performing your duties as a sergeant and you were approving reports.
Correct.
And so when you mean approving reports, you were just, what do you mean by approving reports?
What I mean is I read over the narratives. There's certain things that I'm looking for in the reports. They, especially offense reports. I'm making sure that all the reports that had been assigned for that day are completed. An officer responds to a call for service and generates a report, and those reports have to be done in a timely manner. So I'm looking to make sure that all those calls for service, there's a report attached to it. In the offense reports, I'm looking to make sure that the offense fits the narrative. I'm looking at elements of the crime and making sure that the officers are including all the elements, and it's a clear, concise report. If there's things that are missing or things that need to be amended or reports, I bring it to their attention, and then either they're explaining to me what's going on or they'll fix the report.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does. I
Okay.
understand that process. And so you were also, but thank you for explaining it.
Mhm.
And you were also asked by the government about, did you have any family members at Robb Elementary?
Yes, sir.
But then you went through an explanation, and the jury's heard that Uvalde was such, I'm gonna say is still, such a nice, small-knit community.
A close-knit community.
Close-knit community.
Yes, sir.
So, especially in the Hispanic community, someone may not be your biological or familiar uncle, but you'll call people tío and tía for your aunt, even though, I mean, I'm half Hispanic, so I mean, I get it. But it's that kind of closeness there, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Someone can be called primo, cousin, but they're not really your biological cousin, but you just feel that family environment, in general.
In general, yeah, you can be referring to that if that's what you're asking me.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Okay, so when you were there working at your office, you got a radio call for a 1050.
Yes, sir.
And it wasn't directly to you, correct?
No, sir.
It was, but that means 1050 means accident.
Correct.
Okay. And then at some point after that, and I don't know if it was clear, but at some point after that, dispatch reported shots fired.
I believe there was mention of somebody with a gun at first, and then it was shots fired.
Okay. And so an accident with someone with a gun doesn't tell you a whole bunch, because
No, sir.
in Texas you're allowed to carry guns, as long as you're not a convicted felon, as long as you're not a gang member, or as long as you're not committing a crime other than a Class C misdemeanor, right?
Yes, sir.
Then people can carry a weapon. And so that alone is not concerning. The gun itself, or is it?
If someone carrying a gun, is that what you're asking me?
Yes,
if it's
sir.
a concern?
Yes,
No,
sir.
I mean, we do have, but in the context of the call coming out, well, yes, it's gonna grab your attention. There's a reason why dispatch is relaying that information. Obviously, someone saw a gun, and we're talking about an accident, so does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That's not, we're gonna go there. And so,
Okay.
yes, and so there's something concerning about that report. It wasn't just mentioned just for the heck of it, right?
Correct.
And so you know that through your experience.
Yes, sir.
And then shortly after that, your concerns were verified because they said shots fired.
Yes, sir.
And so you testified that you jumped out of your desk rightfully, and then you went to your vehicle, but on the way, you called out to two other officers in the office with you.
The other officers I don't know if, I made a general broadcast out loud, shots are being fired as I'm running to my vehicle. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. And with those two officers, was that Officer Saucedo and Officer Mendoza?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Okay, and so those are the two officers that ended up leading you, not leading you, but they were ahead of you.
Yes, sir.
And were on that corner on that dash cam. Okay, so I'm just gonna need context to make sure we understand. So it was Officer Saucedo and Officer Mendoza, and just for clarity, there's two Officer Mendozas, right?
Yes, sir.
There's Officer Jesus Mendoza,
Correct.
and then there's Justin Mendoza.
Correct.
And so this one is Jesus.
Correct.
Okay, so Officer Jesus Mendoza and Officer Saucedo happened to be, not because you wanted it that way per se, but they happened to be ahead of you and they drove to the scene.
Yes, sir.
You also said there were other detectives in the office. How many detectives were there?
I knew there was detectives in there. I don't know exactly who was there. I wasn't concerned with that. I was just broadcasting. I knew that there was detectives present. I want to say I visually saw maybe Detective Landry, Sergeant Page, and maybe Lieutenant Martinez.
Okay, just in general.
Just in general.
Now, at some point after, did you, because you heard some of the dispatch, are you aware of the dispatch communication between Gilbert Limones and the 911 dispatcher? It's part of the same group of conversations, but earlier on that we just heard.
Can you tell me who Gilbert Limones is?
I will. He is one of the people that works at the funeral home at the corner where that wreck was.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have opportunities to review that dispatch communication? The 911, thank you, Bill. The 911.
We did go over some 911 calls, I believe.
And when I say 911 and dispatch, in a smaller community, a 911 call comes in, and the jury heard testimony yesterday that, I mean, it's kind of in one room, right?
Yes, it
I mean,
is.
so, and it's, maybe it's been updated, but you'll get someone answering a phone call and then dispatching, so the jury's heard on certain dispatch, you hear 911 in the background.
That's
and
correct.
on certain 911, you hear dispatch in the background.
Yes, that's
Right?
correct.
And so that's why it's confusing to me sometimes, but that's why I'm making them interchangeably.
Yes, sir.
So in Uvalde Dispatch Center for that community, that was the circumstance. It's a phone call and it's dispatching, but it's literally, there's no, you're on the same frequency almost. Not frequency, but you have a call here and you're dispatching here.
So basically, can I?
Yep, you can explain that, sure.
So, yeah, a dispatcher is going to be performing their duties dispatching, but they're also receiving 911 calls and landline local calls, and they're dispatching officers from either these landlines or 911 calls that are coming in.
And that's all I mean. It's just, it's the same people doing all those duties.
Generally, there's 1 to 2 dispatchers on duty at that time.
And so by the time that you heard of the 1050, later on you found out that 11, and so times are going to be important here. So I'm going to go old school and write some stuff on this pad, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. So at 11:29:05, you didn't know his name at the time, but you know that there's an individual named Gilbert Limones that worked at that funeral home, correct? At some point you found out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so the issue we're having, and I know you're trying to testify properly, and thank you, but there's been a little leeway because a lot of people, almost everyone that has testified, has found things out later. So as long as we distinguish what you knew at the time versus what you found out later, then we're good, okay?
Yes, sir. Just to be clear, we didn't conduct the investigation, so it's difficult. We don't.
I understand that.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You're a witness. You're not the one conducting the investigation.
Right.
Early on, you're doing an investigation, so we're going to talk about your investigation to incidents, but about this trial, you didn't do the investigation.
Correct.
Yes, sir. I'll make that distinction. So at 11:29:05, a worker from the funeral home, Gilbert Limones, calls 911 to talk about a crash, which is with the 1050.
Yes, sir.
But then in the middle of that 911 call, it goes from a crash to a discharging of a weapon, shots
Correct.
fired.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna put 911, I'll put Limones, okay?
Okay.
I'm not gonna write all the stuff that goes on there, but if you've reviewed that, you would know, and it's in evidence, you would know that he describes the shooting, he describes to the dispatcher the importance and the severity of the situation, he pleads with her to please get people to hurry up, he actually gives a description of the person shooting, he's wearing black and he's running towards the school. You later found that out, right?
Yes.
Because you have to rely on the information sent to you, officers do.
Correct.
Right? So you can't control what dispatch tells you, right?
Right.
You don't know what they're being told and reported, but you have to respond, you're trained to respond to what's being told to you.
I don't have access, I'm not hearing the 911 calls that comes in. I'm getting dispatch and I'm hearing dispatch advise me of what's going on.
And so when you talk about he's at this same call, so I'm not gonna write it all down because I need space, but at this 9:29:05, Mr. Limones gives a lot of information to dispatch, right? But I'm gonna tell you, but unfortunately it didn't get to you,
Right.
right? Because not only does he say he's wearing black, he's running towards the school, right? So he's saying all these things. He actually said he's shooting at the school at 11:29:05, right? Are you with me on that?
I am.
Okay.
At that,
But I'm not, this is not your fault. You didn't get that information.
correct.
You didn't get that information? Officer Saucedo didn't get that information, right? Officer Mendoza did not get that information, right?
Not to my knowledge, I don't know.
Well, they don't have secret channels, do they?
No, it's broadcast on one channel, yes, sir.
And I wasn't being sarcastic, I'm asking
No,
legitimately.
I understand your
And
question.
so Adrian Gonzales, if they're on the same channel, didn't get that information either, right?
If you're asking if, let me understand you correctly.
Please.
You're asking me if that information was passed on. I never received that information. I don't know whether it was broadcast and I didn't hear it, or I don't know if it wasn't broadcast at all. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, and that's a great answer. But if it wasn't broadcast at all, that would have been critical information for all of the officers to know.
Yes, sir, it would have.
Because now you're not just going to a 1050. You're going to something else.
Correct.
You're going to a person in black, and you know that early on, if it was broadcasted to you guys. You know he's running towards the school, not walking around the school, correct? And you would have specifically known that he's shooting at the school and that there's someone saying, hurry, hurry, please, correct?
Yes, sir.
And again, you, and to your knowledge, none of the other officers had that information.
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
Are you, and we're gonna get there in a second, but are you aware that the shooter entered the school at 11:32:58? Are you aware now?
I know.
Stipulate to that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the government has stipulated, that means they agree that the shooter entered the school at 11:32:58, right? That is after, almost 3-4 minutes after this, right?
Yes, sir.
And in these critical situations, time is of the essence. The government is asking, and we agree with that. Time is of the essence, right? And that's a considerable amount of time in a situation like this. If somebody is shooting, walking towards a school.
Yes.
Okay. And you and Officer Mendoza and Officer Saucedo would have gone to that corner differently if you had been given this information instead of just a 1050 person with a gun, shots fired.
Correct, yes, sir.
And so you arrive, and then Officer Mendoza and Officer Saucedo are already there.
Yes, sir.
Now, I will represent to you, and the government can correct me, that at 11:32:23 is when Officer Mendoza shows up to the scene, to that corner. You okay with that, Bill?
Sure. We'll stipulate to that, Your Honor.
I'm just gonna put Mendoza.
Okay.
Remember, the shooter entered the building at 11:32:58, right? At 11:32:23, he's there. At 11:32:29, Saucedo arrives. And then you arrive shortly after that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Specifically, you arrive at 11:32:32.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you arrive to kind of a chaotic scene, right?
Yes, sir.
We saw the video. We're gonna play the video again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, thank you, hold on one second. So, who is this over here?
Officer Salcedo.
Okay, now, we can see, because the government didn't ask you this, but I want to ask you, what weapon does he have in his hand?
An AR.
What is an AR?
That's a .223 caliber rifle.
AR-15, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so that is what we can see, the barrel above him, correct?
Can you play a little further so I can?
Can you play a little bit further so we can see it? But you knew he had an AR.
Yes.
There it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? We see it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for stopping. And so then we have, and is this you here, Sergeant?
That is me.
Okay, and this is Officer Mendoza.
Officer Mendoza, yes, sir.
Now, you said a lot of things during this portion of the testimony. You drive up and you're kind of walking, it's almost as if, and I'm not being condescending or disrespectful, if people start running, most people might just start running because they're running, right?
Right.
So you walk up and you drive up and you see officers acting as if they're being shot at.
Correct.
So that makes sense that you're gonna act like they're being shot at.
Well, not only that, but I heard rounds going off.
That's important. So you heard rounds. Now, you know that shooting a gun can create an echoing effect,
Yes, sir.
right? Especially against a building with a high-powered rifle, it can create this echoing effect, and it'll be hard to tell where a shot's coming from, right? Is that
Yes,
true?
sir.
Okay. And so it takes you some time to orient
Yes, sir.
and to observe what's going on. And you testified to this jury that at some point you said, well, I'm not seeing evidence that we're being shot at,
Yes, sir.
right? And evidence I think you talked about were rounds bouncing,
Correct.
windows being shot out,
Yes, sir.
the vehicle taking fire.
Yes, sir.
Now, you know that a vehicle is not cover.
Correct.
It's mainly concealment.
Yes, sir.
And the jury's heard plenty about that. But cover would be like the engine block and maybe some of the area around the wheel,
Yes, sir.
the frame. And but Mendoza and Salcedo, and I'm not saying they didn't truly believe this, it's stressful, right?
Yes.
Would you agree that these shots, they sound very, very loud?
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't tell how close they were?
No, sir.
But at some point, Officer Salcedo, and you're getting it from both angles. So you're hearing shots.
Yes, sir.
You're seeing officers that you supervise acting as if they're being shot at. You think you're being shot at for a period of time. You're hearing from the funeral people behind you, which
Yes.
Mr. Limones is one of them.
Okay.
And then Officer Salcedo has a different view. He's looking around that side of his vehicle, and he's looking at this side, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so he tells you, I think I see him,
Yes.
right? And he wants to take a shot.
Correct.
And in all of your training, there's not one officer, law enforcement officer, that if they believe that chapter 931 or 933 of the Penal Code is appropriate, meaning the use of deadly force to defend yourself or defend a third person, that you don't have to ask for permission.
Correct.
You want to make sure that you're factually justified, but you don't have to ask for permission from a supervisor.
Correct.
And so that was odd for you, right?
Yes.
Because you don't even know what he's talking about.
Correct.
I mean, you know there's someone shooting a weapon, they believe it's at them, and he sees somebody, and he's asking permission to shoot.
Yes, sir.
You know now that he saw that person go into the building.
I don't know who he saw or what he saw. I know he asked permission to fire.
Do you know now, though, that the shooter entered the west side of the school?
Yes, from what I was told, yes.
And it's okay, you can talk about that, what you were told, but you were told through investigation is that he entered the west side of the building.
Yes, sir.
And this is where the question is gonna get a little interesting, okay? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Sergeant. Give me 1 second. Let me represent to you that before about 20 some odd seconds before Mendoza shows up, around 11:31:55, 28 seconds, Adrian Gonzales drives into the campus, okay?
Yes, sir.
And I believe that the government will stipulate to that, roughly around that time.
Stipulate that he actually was parking around that time.
Yes, sir.
It's 11:31.
And when I mean campus, I mean parking in the campus.
Parking.
Yes. So at around 11:31:55, and there's no way to get it pinpointed,
Right.
but in that general time, 11:31:55, Adrian is driven into the campus, and you saw his vehicle later on. You saw where his
Later on,
vehicle
yes,
was
sir.
parked. And he's parked in the campus, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm not being disrespectful because you drove up to this. He didn't stay away like at a corner where Mendoza and Saucedo initially were, right?
He was
Correct.
parked in the campus.
He was
yes.
inside the
Yes,
campus.
sir.
And later on, we're gonna see on your video that there is a Randy Hill, an officer Randy Hill, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where we're gonna see him parked on the other side at a certain time. Remember that on your body cam?
Yes, sir.
And we'll talk about that in a second. Now, Officer Randy Hill was the original officer dispatched to this. Do you remember that on?
Yes, sir.
So Randy Hill is the one that was dispatched to this scene, correct?
Yes, sir.
But everybody else responded on their
That's
own.
correct.
Okay. And so we have Adrian there, and at some point, at 11:32:09, the shots fired was Adrian calling out to everyone, shots fired. Do you remember that?
I remember hearing that, yes.
Right.
where-
You don't know the time.
I don't,
We'll stipulate that it was Adrian, but I believe his testimony was that it was.
Well, if he knows.
Saucedo.
I know he did say
But we'll,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll stipulate that it was Adrian.
So, and it's okay. You're not a voice expert, where you, especially over the dispatch. It's hard to hear sometimes, right?
yes, sir.
But the shots fired that you said was Mendoza, it was actually Adrian, okay?
Okay.
And the government stipulated that.
Yes.
And so it would make sense that if you guys are hunkering down and taking cover as far away as you guys were, that somebody much closer to the school would be taking cover for a period of time as well, right?
Possibly, yes.
Well, I mean, it can't be reasonable for you guys to take cover, but Adrian not take cover, right?
Depending on where he was at, I don't know.
Well, you know where he was at now. You know where his car was, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if he was around his car, kind of like you guys are around your cars, would that make sense?
Yes.
Maybe Adrian, closer to the shooting than you guys were, that he would be something doing what you guys are doing.
Yes.
And you later know now because school PD, well, you know this, school PDs, they don't have AR-15s.
That's correct.
And so Adrian didn't have an AR-15.
No.
And so at some point, you were trying to figure out where this shooting was coming from, right?
Yes, sir.
Saucedo and Mendoza said they didn't know,
Right.
but you know for sure that Mendoza asked to shoot.
No, sir.
Not Mendoza,
Saucedo.
Saucedo, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Saucedo. And you know now that there's no evidence that Mendoza and Saucedo were taking fire at that location. Do you know that now?
If you're telling me if.
Yeah, there's no evidence. There's no defects. There's no evidence.
That's correct, yes.
That area.
That I'm aware of, that's why, yes, I testified earlier that I didn't hear anything.
And so I believe you testified that these people from the funeral home are, did you want to say something? I don't want to cut
No.
you off. Okay. These people from the funeral home are yelling at you, and you're taking a bunch of information in.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
one of the things you believe they were saying was, he's running towards the school, right?
Yes, sir.
And that would be consistent to Mr. Limones' 911 call 3 minutes before this, saying, hurry, hurry, he's running towards the school, right? That would
Yes,
be
sir.
consistent. And so this is the part that I'm gonna ask you tactically and what you were perceiving. It's not against your character, okay?
No.
And you testified you're trying to figure out all this stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
You can put that, you can put that down. I didn't know you guys could do that, thank you. And so we can't see, and this is after effect, so some of the pictures the government showed you, there was extra cars there because sheriffs had shown up already, right? And I'll bring that to your attention in a second. But you guys are about right here, roughly, right?
Yes, sir.
You're at this corner of the
Uh-huh.
funeral home, so you're about right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And for the record, I'm pointing to a screen outside of the viewable portion. And Adrian's over here, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so for Saucedo to ask to shoot and say, I think I see him, it makes sense because this is considered line of sight, right?
Yes, sir.
So all of you, I'm not saying you saw him, but all of you had potential line of sight.
Potentially, yes, sir.
Yes. But we have verification that Saucedo saw him and had true line of sight, right?
I don't know if you saw him or not.
No, I understand that, but we have evidence of that. We have
Okay.
some evidence because he's asking to shoot somebody.
Yes, sir. It wouldn't.
Yes, sir.
And it wouldn't make sense for him to shoot someone that either wasn't a threat to him, that he didn't see had a weapon, or he didn't know was shooting a weapon, right? That would not be, you're not trained to do that.
Correct.
Okay, so if he's asking to shoot, he's asking to use deadly force.
Yes, sir.
And it would make sense because you guys are hearing gunfire.
Correct.
And they think they're being shot upon.
Yes, sir.
And you don't know this because it wasn't dispatched to you, but minutes earlier, Mr. Limones was telling the dispatch, send someone, hurry, he's shooting at the school and running towards the school, right?
Right.
And so, but Saucedo, and I'm gonna say Saucedo just for speed, he didn't take the shot, right?
He did not shoot, no.
So Saucedo had the opportunity, correct?
I don't.
To shoot this person. Well, if he saw him and he had an AR-15, that's at least an opportunity. Whether he's good or not with his weapon, that's a different discussion.
The only reason why I say what I say is because later on, Officer Salcella advised me that he potentially had a teacher in the line of sight.
I'm
I don't
glad
know.
you told me that. No, a ranger told him that. Since you brought that up, a ranger told him that was Coach Abraham, but it wasn't.
Way outside the ring.
Well, I mean, he brought it up, and I let him do it.
I don't know.
I'll overrule objection.
Thank you, Judge. Coach, someone tried to tell him, "Don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong." That was a coach, but that wasn't a coach. We know that now. All of us know that now. That was that animal that went into the school. So, and I'm not mad at you, by the way.
Sure.
So Saucedo had the opportunity to shoot, and he didn't. Correct? He didn't shoot.
He didn't shoot.
Let's just say it that way.
Okay.
Okay. And he had an AR-15, and an AR-15 from that distance is a better weapon system than a Glock.
Yes.
Okay. So he had the ability to potentially reach, right?
Yes, sir.
You talk about sighting in at 50 yards. Depending if you're hunting or if you're doing tactical training, some people sight in at an inch eye or 100 for a deer rifle, dead on at 100 or 50, but you can sight your rifle in at different distances, right?
You can, yes, sir.
And if you have iron sights, that means you're just putting iron sights, that means the sights that come on the weapon, and that's more difficult training than a red dot.
Correct.
Right? And a red dot is put on weapons at AR-15s, they have
Correct.
red dots.
They have.
And police issued AR-15s have red dots.
They can have red dots.
That one, Saucedo did.
Don't believe so, no, sir.
And so you're saying, well, I wanna make sure, because we're gonna verify this, but
Sure.
you're saying the Uvalde PD issued AR-15 with iron sights and no red dots?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll check, double check that, okay?
Mhm.
So, but all I'm saying is an AR-15 has the ability to reach.
It can, yes.
Okay. And so ability and opportunity. Now, even though Mendoza was hiding, he had potential line of sight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Mendoza did not do anything to distract or deter or to stop this person from going into the school?
No.
No, and neither did Saucedo.
No.
And you came a little bit later, but, and I'm not being mean to you, you didn't either,
No.
because you didn't see him.
Correct.
Okay. But you're hearing from behind you, he's running towards the school.
Yes.
And then towards the school, but in your mind, and it's important what was in your mind,
Yes.
Sarge, in your mind, you're thinking this is probably another bailout.
The potential to be, yes, sir.
Well, because you made a decision that even though you three knew that this person, whoever, you didn't know at the time who it was, entered the school, that you were going to travel around to hopefully catch him as this person went through the school. Did I misunderstand
No,
you?
sir.
Okay.
No, you did.
Okay.
Because that's not, I never saw anyone that was a suspect. I never saw anyone with a gun. I never saw him enter the school. I never saw any of that. My whole intent was to drive around to intercept the individual that was shooting.
Stop. So how would you intercept the individual over here? How did you know he was going to be over here?
I don't know.
What made you think that though?
Because there's no other buildings west of us. We were on the complete west side of the property.
Yes, sir.
There's only one way direction to run, either south or west.
Okay.
I'm sorry, east.
Okay. And so what path did you think this person was taking for you to intercept them?
Well, tactically, like I said, if he's running towards the school, that's any direction this way, whether it be south or east.
Okay.
So my intent was, if he's running towards the school, or past the school, or running towards the school, I'm gonna swing around and flank him that way.
Oh, but how would you flank him if you don't know where he's going? Or what path? It's like if you're in hot pursuit, you're pursuing someone that you've seen, you identified that they need to be detained, and you know where they're going. So if I see someone run through those doors, I'm not gonna run through this door because that goes to the jury room. I'm gonna run through that door, or if I know because I do know now, because I've been here for 2 weeks, that if I go through that exit door, I can intercept the people that went through that back door. Does that make sense? Because I saw them go through that door.
What I'm saying is, we had the individuals at the funeral home were saying he was running towards the school.
Yes, sir.
From that, my position and where they were also behind me, there's only one direction to go, either east or south.
Okay.
He wasn't running towards us, he wasn't.
So how would you get to this? If you're gonna go intercept them, you were gonna intercept them here? Because you didn't drive over here, you drove over here?
Correct.
Okay, so,
Well,
again.
because again, the street comes this way. I positioned myself to have every opportunity. If he was running straight, I could intercept him there, or if he continued running south, east, I could intercept him there. I was giving myself an opportunity to intercept him either way, from the very corner of the property all the way that way south.
But if you're gonna intercept him going here, how would he travel this way? Because you're on this road, so you know he's not on this road, right?
Correct.
And this is the north side of the school, so you know he's not running around the school in the north, right?
Well, I knew he was, I don't know where he was at. I knew that he was in the general vicinity of this area, because I could hear rounds going off, but I wasn't sure exactly where. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, it makes sense what you're telling me, but I'm not sure.
You're asking me if how would I intercept him if he was in the, well, that's, I mean, what you're saying is that's exactly why I ended up this way, coming around this way, because we were running through the breezeways trying to intercept him.
Okay, but if someone says, I'm running towards the school, you came around as if they were running through the school, and you kind of
Correct.
said that a little bit,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So had you contemplated that this person, whoever they were, wherever they were, was going through the school?
No.
Okay. But you knew he's not here, so the only other thing is, it could be either here or through the school. Those are the only other options, right?
Yes, sir. And the reason, the reason I'm telling you is because, like I said, I'm already positioned here, and the only thing to do is to intercept him. I'm trying to intercept him as he's going through the school.
I'm gonna ask you a question. So you have this covered. You have line of sight, and you've seen this, and you see nothing here.
Correct.
If someone's running to the school, they're either gonna run into the school or this way. So I'm asking, and try to remember what you were thinking. Why wouldn't you drive this way and make another assessment and try to see this person?
Well, because again, when they were saying he's running to the school or through the school, I was anticipating to intercept him that way.
So if someone runs through the school, that means they have to
I
go
was still gonna run through. I was gonna work my way through, which I did, pass through the school.
But because there's a difference, through or towards the school. If someone's
Yeah, there
running
is.
through the school,
There is, and that's why I'm saying I couldn't hear from that distance.
Okay.
I'm getting gunfire, and then I'm also having people yell at me. I have officers down, and I'm trying to get as much information as I possibly could.
Got it. But still, you didn't make the decision to do this and
No.
drive to the, right? But that could have been a decision somebody
Could have
could have
been,
made.
yes.
Where you would drive closer, move up, go towards the shooting, because this jury and the government's made a big deal about training in officers.
Mhm.
And the training is that you always run where? Towards the shooting.
Yes.
Towards the shooting, and the
Yes.
shooting was over here. And again, I'm not saying you should be
No.
prosecuted, by the way. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, but you and the other two officers did not go towards the shooting.
Well, we did do it towards the shooting. My whole intent was to, again, I'm not just driving because I want to drive or I'm hearing. I'm also being told that he's running through the school or to the school. So the only option is either he's running east or he's running south. So my best advantage point would be here so that I can intercept him one way or another. That was my intent.
Okay, I understand. Was it ever? But he's either going to intercept him over there, and I'll move on because it seems like we're not going to see on this one. We're not going to see eye to eye. He either has to go through the school or go this way, right? That's
Correct.
the only other way because he's not going to jump the school, and he's not here because you have line of sight here, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so the three officers here did not go towards the shooting, right? Did not go towards the shooting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and there was definitely shooting on this side, correct? And I'm not saying you saw him, because you said you
No, I
didn't,
didn't.
and I have no reason to not believe you. But then Saucedo did, it appears, we have evidence, we have some evidence coming from him that he saw this individual, because he asked to shoot him.
He asked permission to
Right.
fire.
And so you drive off, and we now know that he went in here.
Yes.
We now know that.
Yes.
And so, and then these Mendoza and Saucedo stay back. They stay back with the AR-15 and the other two officers together. They stay back.
Okay.
And you drive around, correct? And we saw your body
Yes.
cam. Okay, I just want to make sure. And we can see, can you switch that picture, Jason, please? Where we see Adrian's car? The next one, with Adrian's car? Okay. And so now we've moved up closer, and we can see where Adrian's at. Now, you didn't know Adrian was over here, right?
No.
Okay. But you can see, they're not contesting this. 100% Adrian has zero line of sight, correct?
Mhm.
Is that true? Is that yes? He has no line of sight from here.
Well,
Nobody.
from there, no.
Right. And so you guys are here, and even though you're on the side of the shooting, you did not see the shooter?
No.
And I believe you, by the way. And you couldn't tell where the shooting was coming from for sure.
Correct.
And you're on the side of the shooting.
Correct.
Adrian's not on the side of the shooting, right?
Right.
Doesn't it seem unreasonable for someone to expect Adrian to know where this shooting's coming from, but you guys not to know where it's coming from? Doesn't that seem unreasonable? Not you, someone else.
Me?
Bill, yes. And Christina, be fair.
Yeah.
Right? That would be unreasonable to you, right?
Yes.
Right? Because to put on this person here, Adrian, by sound, with no line of sight and no opportunity nor ability to know exactly where this shooting's coming from and to run to the shooting, but three officers, again, with potential line of sight,
Right.
one of them having them, on the side of the shooting. They did not run to the shooting. But ignore them and focus on that. That doesn't seem reasonable, does it?
No.
I agree with you. And in fairness to you, Sarge, at that time, I want to make sure that I get the right terminology, because you said something, it's in my notes here. You were talking about the bailouts and how you had just a tremendous, we were getting hammered with bailouts, is what you said.
Yes, sir.
Right? And so everybody, and this is just a reality, everybody was computing bailouts. I mean, even some of the people that were testifying, I mean, it's like, well, it's another lockdown, it's probably a bailout. Everyone was thinking bailouts, right?
The possibility was there, yes, it would have been.
And if somebody was gonna shoot, it was to get away from officers because they were doing a bailout, not because they're gonna commit a mass shooting at a school.
Yes, sir.
And again, in fairness to you, and that's why you were trying to intercept, because you're thinking it's someone bailing out. It didn't even cross your mind, whether people can disagree whether that's reasonable or not, but it didn't even cross your mind that this person was gonna go into the school and shoot it up.
No.
Now, you understand other officers would disagree with you, right?
Sure.
But you're just saying what you were thinking at the time.
Well, not so much only what I was thinking, but the information that I had received at the time as well.
But from an objective standpoint, you had information of a person shooting, running towards a school, and so other officers may have acted differently, right? In fairness.
How do you mean?
Well, meaning maybe other officers would have followed this training and then run directly to the side of the building where the shooting was, and then make sure they get line of sight on this person before they leave that area. Clear it, make sure that this area is safe, so when you're pursuing somebody, you know you've covered this area, and then it's not slicing the pie, but you're covering an area to make sure you're tracking down this person.
Like I said, the reason why I drove around the front of the school was because I wanted to intercept him. My information that I received was he was running to or through the school, so my whole intent was to intercept him at the time. That's what I was doing.
And again, in totality of the circumstances,
Yes.
that's a term of art that law enforcement uses. What does that mean, totality of the circumstances?
In hindsight, after everything has been investigated, the
You have to
totality of
look at
everything.
everything.
Everything that,
Because if we piecemeal something, if we try to fit a circle in a square, or if we only look at something like this, if the prosecution or if law enforcement gets tunnel vision, but not in combat, tunnel vision in prosecuting, well, that's not fair, right? That's not good.
right,
And so we want to consider everything, the totality of the circumstances. And in totality of the circumstances, these school doors should have been locked.
yes.
So could that be something in your mind? Not trying to give you an out, I'm just trying to be fair. That in your mind, well, he's not going to get into school because it's supposed to be locked. So let me try to be creative and try to track this person down, right? Would that not, that wasn't in your mind?
Sure. No, I mean, again, my intent was to
catch them.
to catch them.
And you made a decision to go the north side versus the south side of the.
Yes,
And you had two frantic witnesses yelling at you, right?
yes,
I mean, you had two frantic with weapons, and one of them asking to shoot somebody, telling you information, correct?
yes,
And you still made different decisions. Because you had somebody say, I want to shoot somebody on the west side of the building, but you still drove north.
right, yes, sir,
Okay, so you took all that in when you made your assessment.
yes.
Um, Okay, we're gonna play your body cam again. Can we get back up to the, not body cam, I'm sorry, dashboard. And I wanna direct your attention to something as he's getting it ready. So when you leave Saucedo and Mendoza, they stay at the corner, correct? So we'll stop here 1 second.
I believe one of them or both of them follow me, because after looking at the dash cam, I think I see them on the front of the school side.
Well, if a Texas Ranger is gonna come testify that they stayed there for a period of time and not follow you, then we'll just defer to that?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just defer to that for now. And I'm happy to be corrected, but I don't think I'm wrong. So you leave, and we're gonna see that with the AR-15 and so they're gonna stay here, but you're gonna be driving north, and you're gonna come down Geraldine, and I wanna direct your attention, when you make a turn to the front, there's already a police officer. So while all this is going on, there's a police officer out of his vehicle just standing there on the corner.
Okay.
Did you remember that when you saw it the first time?
Yes, I saw patrolling.
Do you remember who that is?
I don't.
Would it be Randy Hill maybe?
Could be, yes.
Probably. Okay, let's look at it, then we'll talk, because I want to make sure that your memory's refreshed. So all this is going on. You're yelling at someone over here, right? You're looking, you're scanning, observing. He's moving up to get behind the frame of his car, right?
Okay.
He moved up in a triangle, and you're driving off.
Yes, sir.
See, this guy's already here. He's
Yes.
out of his vehicle.
Mhm.
And we don't know how long he's been there.
No.
But it's safe to say that he's been there for a little while, because he's parked and there's two officers there, it looked like. Can you go back, please? And pause it. I see 4 legs.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And they're on the passenger side, so they've been here for some time. For some time, some period of time. I'm not saying an hour, but some time.
Maybe
Right.
a couple seconds, yeah.
Well, okay, well, I'm gonna argue more, but I'm just saying, they're here parked there. And if there's a call that comes in, shooter running towards the school with a gun, towards the school, can you think of any tactical or training reason why they would park on the corner and just stand there?
I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they heard.
I know, that wasn't my question, Dad.
Okay.
But my question was, can you think of any tactical or logical, reasonable reason why after that call, even though it wasn't even the full call that Mr. Limones put out, what he tried to report, why these officers would be at that corner, and it seems like they've been there for a while, and just stand there?
No.
It doesn't make sense, right? But they're not sitting in that chair, are they? These
No,
guys?
no.
Okay. But they're there for some period of time, and they're not running to the school, right? And I guess the government can call them if they do or don't, but we can ask them what they heard and why didn't they run to the gunfire,
Yes.
correct? But they didn't do it. We can see that.
Right.
Okay, can you please play it? But you are. Look at you. You're going quickly. Now, do you run out the back, or do you come out the front? I couldn't
come
tell.
out the front. I
Okay.
jump out, and that's when I hear a vehicle coming at a high rate of speed. I could hear it down the, and then Chief out on the pool side.
Who's that?
Chief.
Okay. Where are you at this time?
I was trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah. Can we pause, please? And so you're parked, but then for some period of time, you're assessing again, or you're
Yes.
staying and you're looking, maybe you see if you saw him?
Right.
I don't know, but so you have two officers standing at the corner, and I'm not being disrespectful, but we see that you're parked there and you're staying there for a while, and then Arredondo gets out and he seems like he's adjusting. And play again, please. Is that you? Or no?
Well, I say that's me over there.
Here?
No, in the front.
Okay. Can we pause, please? Now, there's a number of officers here, right? And not all of them run with you and the chief.
I believe that's Officer Salcedo.
No, I understand that, but none of these people make it into the building with you and the
Not-
chief.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So they obviously won't run into the gunfire either.
I don't know what information they have.
But if they were with you, then they would have been, I mean, and ahead of you was Paige and Adrian.
Yes,
Ahead of you.
yes.
But these people weren't behind you, so they didn't follow you to the fourth grade building.
They didn't follow me and Chief, is that what you're?
Yes, sir, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. And so my point is, they weren't running to the gunfire, obviously. They were doing something else. The gunfire was at the fourth grade building?
Yes.
And
Well, the west, building that was on the west side of the fourth.
that's the fourth grade building. The west side, south side, east side, north side. So, but these officers, they're not with you, Chief, and they're definitely not with Adrian and Sergeant Page, right?
Right, yes.
Now, other officers come in from the other side, but there's a number of officers. Can you keep playing, please? Is someone walking around kind of pacing back and forth over there? He's not running into the gunfire, right? This gentleman?
Right.
Okay. Thank you. And so you know that, and then at some point, matter of fact, at 11:32:59, let's do 11:32. I'm just gonna put entrance, okay? Because I'm not gonna mention his ass. This is when, this is the entrance, right?
Okay.
At 11:32:59, I'm gonna put Adrian breaks, and when, you know what that means, right? When you break
Yes.
on the radio, he's trying to transmit something. So almost simultaneously, as this shooter is entering the building, Adrian has done some assessing like you guys are doing in the corner.
Correct.
But he's doing what the training says to do, communicated. And he says, and he can't see, right? He doesn't know when this guy enters the building. We saw that from
Right,
line of
yes.
sight. He says, gonna be on the west school, on the west side of the school by those vehicles, supposed to be wearing all black, all black. So when you hear someone say supposed to be, that kind of gives you the impression that they don't know, someone is telling them something. Well, supposedly, Jason is gonna did this, right? Because that's what he told me he did. And that's consistent with how Adrian was relaying messages, right?
Yes, sir.
You know now that he was with a special ed assistant aide, right? Melody Flores? Do you know that now?
Yeah, he mentioned something about being with a teacher, right?
Right, so yes, in the investigation.
Yes.
And so he's dealing with the teacher, a frantic individual, kind of like Mendoza and Saucedo were frantically, everybody's frantic. This is,
Yes.
I'm not ragging on that, that's reality. And so he's dealing with her, trying to get information. 50 seconds earlier, when he heard shots fired, didn't give a description of where they were coming from, right? We heard the dispatch.
Right.
Because you can assume he didn't know because he can't tell where they're coming from, right? Fair enough?
Fair enough.
And then he gets in touch with Melanie at this scene, and he's taking cover like you guys were. And then he's getting information from her. and she's saying things, and you didn't hear her testimony, whether she said south building, west building, running this, and he's trying to take it all in.
Yes.
And then as soon as he gets a picture of what he thinks is going on, he relays it to everybody, right?
Yes.
But unfortunately, it's not his fault, but unfortunately, it's almost at the same time as this person is getting into the building, right?
Sure.
He can't see him, but he's relaying the information. Supposed to be wearing black. Supposedly wearing black, right? You heard that.
Yes.
And we don't know, you don't know for sure, what Mendoza and Saucedo were thinking and why they didn't. Can you put this back up, the first one?
This one, or the
The
other?
one before, please. You don't know why, we're hearing your thought process.
Yes.
But we just don't know why Mendoza and Saucedo, especially someone who saw the shooter, didn't go to the shooting. But not just go to the shooting. You don't have to guess. He saw the shooter. You don't know why he didn't go to the shooter, right?
I don't know, no, sir.
But that was an option for these two. That was an option for Saucedo and Mendoza. We already talked about your option, but it was an option for them too. Right?
Yes.
I mean, they could have driven up. They could have driven up all the way up here, set up a perimeter, something, and then breached, come in here and follow this shooter. They wouldn't have known where he's going, but neither would Adrian, right? They hadn't even seen him.
Right, he
Fair
hadn't
enough.
seen him, is that what you're saying?
Okay, but they did. One of them did. Saucedo did, for sure. And they didn't do that. They didn't come to this building, right? They didn't come to this door.
No, not that I know.
And you don't know exactly why they made those decisions.
No.
But in talking about school safety, you know, it's policy. It's policy that these school doors have to be locked.
Yes, I mean, that's usually what happens is all the schools are the exterior doors, interior doors are locked.
And as we said earlier, time is always of the essence in these situations, right?
Yes, sir.
And so if somebody is coming to a door and they have bad intentions, and there's officers, you wouldn't have known, but there's officers line of sight on this person. And if that door was locked, it would have been one of these situations which would have given you time to see him, right?
Sure.
Saucedo more time to reassess his decisions, and Mendoza to pick his head up and at least do something. Somebody could have distracted, deterred, delayed, or stopped that guy from
Yes, sir,
getting
could
the
have, yes, sir.
One of these three, including yourself, one of these three that had line of sight could have stopped. If that door was locked, it would have given you precious time to make a better assessment and for Saucedo to act.
For sure, yes, sir.
Now, can you see Adrian's car? Yes. Would you agree with this, Sarge? That's fine. That's fine, Jason. We'll do both. That in the initial call, someone's running towards the school with a gun and shots have been fired. Adrian goes into the eye of the storm. Would you agree that this is a lot more dangerous than being over here?
Sure, yes, sir.
So Mendoza Saucedo set up perimeter out there for whatever reason. You just respond to what you saw. But Adrian didn't set up out here, right? He drove into the eye of the storm. He's driving into a shooter running towards the school. Where does he drive towards?
He drove into the school.
Into the school, right? And so he's here. So he's placed himself in danger, correct?
Yes.
And he's making his assessments, and we've talked about that already. But then at some point, you know, and we can look at the videos,
Sure.
because we can see on the funeral video, that at around 11:33, Jason? 11:33:07? What is it, Michelle? 11:08? 33:08?
Are you talking about Page?
Page.
Yeah, 11:35:07.
Okay. He's driving up, right? Because your body cam turns on at 11:35:10.
Mhm.
That's going to be important. But at 11:35:08, Page is driving up, right?
Right.
And then at some point, Adrian leaves his cover of his vehicle, and because Page parks, we see in the videos, and we'll show him again, pictures. He makes movement to Page, and there's contact with Page. And we're going to hear from Page, I'm sure, today. So he makes contact with Paige, right? Because the government just asked you about those pictures and who's standing there. It's Sergeant Page and it's Adrian, remember?
Yes, I did see the two officers there, yes.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm just kind of setting the tone. So at some point, Paige drives in, literally almost at the same time around, you put your body cam on.
Okay.
And you told the reason why. But it would have been very, very helpful if you had your body cam on earlier, right?
Yes.
Because then we could have heard exactly what the funeral people were saying to you guys, right? Potentially.
Potentially.
Right? We would have heard Saucedo, and maybe he said more than just, I see him, I really want to, he could have said other things, we don't know. You just remember him saying, I think I see him, I want to shoot. Permission to shoot,
Yes.
right? We could have heard maybe potential what Mendoza was saying, right, and what he was thinking.
Potentially.
And then heard shots.
Yes.
And also, you know that Officer Jesus Mendoza had a body cam also.
Yes.
Okay. And so we're hopefully going to see those. But do you know now that Mendoza's body cam wasn't turned on the corner also? Do you know
No,
that
I
now?
do not.
You don't know that. Okay,
I-
we'll let that come about. So, but at some point we see you running up,
Yes.
and Adrian has made he's left his cover of his car, and he's come to meet, because he sees Paige, right? That's backup, and he comes and sees Paige, and they meet up here. And do you remember, if you remember, as you're running, they're already walking towards the school. Do you remember them moving towards the school when you looked at the video?
Yes, I believe they were.
They were moving
They
towards the
beat
school.
me towards the south entrance of the school.
Well, yeah, they darted in when they heard those shots.
Yes.
And you know that by the time those shots, and we heard the audio, but the body cam's on us right here, so it sounds loud to us. But out there, you were a good distance from Paige and from Adrian,
Yes,
right?
I was.
And do you know now that in their interviews, they didn't even mention hearing you or seeing you until
Yeah,
later?
that makes
sense, right?
Yes.
So they were reacting and responding on their own. They heard those shots, and we look at your body cam, and 1 minute your arm's in the way because you're doing what you're, doing appropriate stuff, and then it comes up and they're already in that school, right?
Right.
So Adrian puts himself in danger by driving in the eye of the storm, tactically comes out and meets Sergeant Page, and then when they hear the shots, the same shots that you heard, before you know it, they sprint into the school, right?
Yes.
And they're ahead of you, and to your
Yes.
credit, you and the chief follow.
Yes.
And we see Adrian with his gun out, and he's in the hallway, correct?
Yes.
And we see Sergeant Page at times over here.
Yes.
And we saw the smoke. When you walk into this hallway, there's smoke because after a lot of rounds in AR-15, the gunpowder makes smoke, right?
Yes.
And you would agree that this hallway, and it came up a lot yesterday, but it's important, is a fatal funnel.
Yes, it could be,
right?
yes, sir.
Because it's a narrowed, exposed situation
Correct.
that puts the person in high vulnerability.
Correct.
Right? High vulnerability meaning there's no cover. There's not even concealment except for those little niches. Every once in a while, there's a little cover.
Yes.
But him and Paige and you are exposed. They're
Yes.
in the fatal funnel. And then even after we saw in your body cam, even after Hernandez, who got shot in the head?
Lieutenant Martinez.
I'm sorry. I knew it. Lieutenant Martinez got skinned. Even though he got skinned, you saw Adrian didn't move. He didn't run out the back.
No.
He stayed in the fatal funnel.
Yes.
Because that person could have done this and could have done this. I mean, it's that easy. It's like bop, 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 and people are dead. But Adrian didn't move. Right?
Right.
He remained in danger by being in that school.
Yes.
Is that fair? And so did you, right?
Yes.
And so did Sergeant Page.
Yes.
And Martinez has already been injured.
Yes.
And tactically, and I think we'll ask Sergeant Page, but him yelling to the other side, even though I know his heart wanted to check on Martinez, tactically that was not a good decision.
No.
Right, because now you're notifying the shooter that you have people on this side. So there could have been a scenario where this guy thought, I'm outpowering these people, and he would come out with his weapon, and then that would have given you, Adrian, and Paige an opportunity to shoot.
Could have, yes.
Right, but so Paige, and I'm not ragging on him for it, him yelling out was not tactically sound for that circumstance.
I don't know. I mean, given your position is
Yeah.
tough to do, but I understand why he did it.
I do too. I mean, he cares about Martinez, but I mean, I'm just saying you don't want a shooter to know where you're at.
No, you don't.
Element of surprise is a big deal.
Yes.
And so he does that, and Adrian stays in that hallway.
Yes.
And the only time that Adrian leaves that hallway is when the chief tells him, you can hear Adrian saying, "Are you breaking? Can anyone break from in here?" Right?
Yes.
Can anyone's radio work? Is what it translates to. And no, so the chief, and you heard the chief say, "Call SWAT."
Yes.
And so the only time Adrian leaves danger is when the chief tells him to go outside and call for backup,
Yes, sir.
for call for heavier power, because now we have a barricaded individual. Right?
Yes, sir.
And you heard at some point, people didn't even know if kids were in these classrooms, right?
I can tell you, I didn't know.
You didn't know. But you can hear Adrian is calling also. People are trying to call the front office.
Yes.
Are there classes in, right?
You can see on my body cam, yes, I'm doing that. Yes.
And the reason why is two things. Number one, because that school does not have a designated officer. Police
Not
officer.
to my knowledge, no.
Adrian was assigned to the high school.
Yes, he was.
That's why Adrian is even asking, where is the fourth grade building? He asked somebody else, right? That makes sense to you.
Makes sense, yes.
And so everyone is trying to figure out, not everyone, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but Adrian and yourself and maybe one other person are asking, are there kids in these classrooms?
Yes.
Another factor is because there was a special day, it was end of the school year,
Yes.
and there was award ceremonies going on.
Yes, sir.
We had heard of award ceremonies going on in the high school,
Yes, I believe the high school was doing a picnic or something.
yeah, at Mexican Park.
Yes.
That's the slang, that's what you guys call it, Mexican Park. And then over here, there was award ceremonies going on in the middle school as well.
Yes, sir.
Elementary school, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, elementary school.
And so that's another reason why people were asking, are these classrooms even full?
Yes, sir.
But it made the situation even more dangerous because at some point, Adrian, Sergeant Page, and yourself, Sarge, you see sheetrock. You know that there's bullets going through.
Yes, sir.
So those hallways, at best, were just concealment.
Yes, sir.
I mean, and that's why giving your position is not tactically sound, but there wasn't gonna be any protection. If that shooter wanted to just shoot through the wall,
Yes, sir.
you, Adrian, and Sergeant Page, and Martinez and Mireles on the other side could have potentially been killed.
Canales.
Canales, but Mireles eventually came in, but Canales, yes, could
Yes,
have
sir.
been killed, right?
Yes, sir.
But Adrian stayed in the hall.
Yes.
And we noticed that all the other people that we saw on your dash cam, the ones behind you, they didn't end up in the hallway, right? They didn't come in from the south behind you.
No, no, at that moment, no.
And there was a number of officers there that we saw on your dashboard. cam,
Yes.
Right? And so you knew who was on the other side, Martinez and Canales, but those officers, we don't know where they were.
Well, to be fair, I didn't know exactly who was quite a distance on the other side. I didn't know who was there and who was not. I know that Adrian was on my side and Pete was also on my side and Paige.
Yes, sir. But all I'm saying is, when we saw the dash cam, those officers, they didn't make it into the building.
Not behind me, no.
Yes, sir. Do you remember when the government asked you that calling SWAT is opposite of confronting a shooter? Do you remember that question?
No,
You don't remember that question?
I don't.
Well, then I'll remind you of the
Sure.
question. Bill asked you, Mr. Turner asked you, calling SWAT, that's opposite of confronting the shooter. He asked you that.
Okay.
And you seemed befuddled by it. You seemed confused by it. That's a confusing statement question. Would you agree?
I was confused by, I know what you're saying now, yes, and yes, I was
I mean-
confused. Maybe that's probably why I don't remember.
Yeah, well, it's forgettable. And so all I'm saying is the fact that if someone's calling SWAT, you're not cowering or running away, you're following orders because you've gone as far as you can go in a circumstance. You've put yourself in a fatal funnel. You've put yourself in danger. You've
Yes.
drawn your weapon. Everybody is halted because now someone is barricaded. Officers have taken rounds, and your chief says, go call SWAT. That's not someone running away from danger, is it?
No.
Did you ever see Randy Hill make that call? Because he
Which
was the one
call?
assigned to this call initially, right? The one in the corner?
Oh, yes, sir.
I mean, the one standing outside his car when you drove by?
If that was him,
That's Randy Hill.
okay.
One of them is Randy Hill. Did you know if he ever made the call? Did he ever get to the building? Did he ever?
I do not know that. I don't know.
I'm just going through my notes. Now you said something in the video or someone did, maybe it's not you, so please correct me, said we have him contained.
Yes,
And he was contained, right?
yes,
Because technically, if you initial officers, you 5 at the beginning,
correct.
didn't go into that hallway, he technically could have not only focused on 112 and shot those other children that made it, he would have been focused on doing that. He could have been distracted by you in the hallway, right?
Yes,
He was so distracted that he came out to shoot some of you.
yes,
So you, yourself, Paige, Adrian, Martinez, Canales, the chief, you guys had distracted him from continuing his carnage, right? To continuing doing what he was doing.
I know he shot at us, yes, sir, and stopped, and he stopped shooting, I guess.
And there's no way for him to know when or if you guys were gonna breach.
No, he
right?
did not know.
So that could have been on his mind, right? Could have
Sure.
been. And so that's a distraction. Now, but if you weren't in the hallway, and if he had intent, because the evidence has shown, he had a lot of rounds on him, a lot of magazines with bullets in them. He could have walked from that classroom to the next classroom, 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 and without you being in the hallway, you and Adrian being one of the first ones in the hallway, and Paige, and Canales, and Martinez, he could have gone through that whole school and shot up the whole school. Could have.
Could have, yes, sir.
Nothing would have stopped him but for 5 officers containing him in that room.
Yes, sir.
And then eventually 376 showed up, right?
Eventually, yes, sir.
Now there was a period of time in the video where the government asked you about Adrian holstering his weapon. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
Where was Adrian when he holstered the weapon?
He was on the south.
God bless you. Where was he at?
He was on the southeast corner of the building.
Southeast corner, inside or outside?
Outside.
Outside. Was there any gunfire going on over there?
No.
Do you always have to worry about crossfire, friendly fire?
Yes, sir.
So if you don't have a threat in front of you, is it prudent and reasonable and per training that you holster your weapon if there's not a threat in front of you?
Yes, sir.
I mean, and if you train, I mean, how long doesn't take long to I have a jacket on, but I mean, you can draw a weapon quickly, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, so holstering a weapon when there's no threat is reasonable, right?
Right.
Your weapon was holstered out there.
Yes, it was.
Now, you said a lot of things out there. You were saying, well, I want to talk about friendly fire before we talk about what you were dispatching and what equipment you were asking for.
Yes, sir.
And you guys just had to do it. You kind of through your own safety, the wings, everybody runs in. You were in a tactical, not just in a fatal funnel, but if Martinez is on the other side with Canales and Adrian's on this side, Paige, you're here, you and the chief. What is this potential when you have blue on blue?
Yes, that was a concern.
And what is that called? Crossfire?
Crossfire, yes, sir.
Or blue on blue? And so, but in that situation, you did what you had to do, right? All of you did what you had to do. But that was a potential concern as well.
Yes, it was a potential concern.
But back to you being outside. So you and Adrian go outside. Adrian is commanded or asked or told by the chief to go outside. He listens. Reasonable request. You go outside also because you can't break either.
Correct.
And you're a sergeant. And so you're out there and you're asking for flashbangs.
Yes,
if
sir.
we have them.
Yes.
What are flashbangs?
Distraction devices, sir.
And now you typically would you use those if there was a room full of children?
It's hard to say. I mean, what I was doing, I knew that we were gonna have to confront the individual, and I prefer to have a distraction device,
right,
given that we just took rounds.
Right. Now you didn't know that there was a room full of children, by the way. So
No.
you want options, right? Is that
Correct,
a fair statement?
yes.
So you're asking for options, and the way flashbangs are used is it goes and it creates this explosion.
Correct.
So a bad guy could maybe be distracted by that, and then you guys could come in,
Correct.
right, and do something.
Yes.
And there's all different kinds of ways to distract.
Yes.
But that would be one of them.
One of them, yes, sir.
Do you think that, speaking of distract, do you think that Saucedo and Mendoza could have distracted the shooter before he went into the building on the west side?
Could have, yes,
They could have, right?
yes.
Now, you also asked for a Halligan tool. They've heard a lot about a Halligan tool, so I'm gonna just jump in. That's a tool to help pry open a door, especially for an outward swinging door, correct?
Yes, sir.
Much more difficult to deal with that
A
scenario.
lot more difficult, yes.
And so you asked for that, correct?
Yes,
And after you asked for that, and this is where we can hear Adrian trying to verify, are there children in the classrooms on the video?
yes,
So you're still figuring things out.
mhm. Yes, sir.
Judge, I didn't realize the time. Do you want me to pause right here? I can kind of cut it. It's lunchtime.
Go on. Keep going.
Okay. I don't want them mad at me. They can be mad at you. I'm sorry.
We gotta finish this one, so, you know, we're not, so let's go.
Okay, Judge, well, I'm doing my best. So you guys are trying to figure this out still.
Yes.
Okay. And then as you're figuring it out, at some point, because I know that they asked you about this,
Mhm.
Adrian's posting up on the southeast corner, and he's looking, and that was a reasonable thing to do, right?
I thought so, yes.
I mean, because there's people coming up this way.
Yes,
Meaning officers, and there's some defects on the window, maybe some rounds that have come out.
correct,
And so two things can happen. Someone can be shot from that window.
yes,
It's kind of a sniper situation.
correct.
Or the person, the individual suspect could be trying to escape.
Could,
And
yes,
if they're trying to escape, then that's when you guys would confront them, right?
yes,
And so someone, that's truly containing. So once again, he's following his training, taking on the role of containment on the backside, because he
Yes.
knew the hallway was covered.
correct.
And during that time, the government asked you about kind of this, it sounded like, and it looked like Adrian was just figuring it out like you are. And he says, I saw a teacher on the ground, right?
Yes,
Now, you didn't hear his interview, but he explains that he didn't know at the time it was a teacher. Once he made contact with her, he knew that was a teacher at that time, right?
to be honest with you, sir, I don't know what he was saying. I know he was trying to,
Okay.
I think he was just thinking out loud, trying to explain what was going on and rationalize
Right.
what was going on.
He's just figuring out, he says, I saw a teacher on the ground, I thought she had tackled somebody, I saw her running, right? So
Correct.
and you didn't hear his interview, but he saw someone running, and the call was someone's running towards the school with a gun. And so he gets the call, because you heard the dispatch, someone running towards the school with the gun, and where did Adrian drive?
Into the school.
Into the school, towards the
Objection,
school.
This is an ask and answer, it's repetitive now, Your Honor.
All right,
Same.
so you saw that. So Adrian is recollecting that in his mind. So when you talk about considering, because the government asked you about considering the backdrop,
Mhm.
anytime you have shooting around a school, you're never going to have a perfect backdrop,
No,
right? I mean, if in a courtroom, there's never going to be a perfect backdrop. I mean, these officers, I mean, you're always going to have that situation,
Correct, yes.
especially at a school. I mean,
yes,
that doesn't mean you don't act at all and do something.
no,
right? Um, And from your knowledge, you know, and from what you experienced, you saw Adrian act, correct?
I'm sorry?
You saw Adrian act as you approached at 11:35:10?
Yes,
He ran into the school,
yes,
he stayed in the school, correct?
Yes.
In the hallway?
yes.
And he remained in danger until given further instruction.
From what, now
the
we
chief.
played from the video that we saw, the dash cam, or body cam, yes.
Thank you, sir. Pass the witness, Judge.
Will we continue?
Yeah.
This is the case of the state versus Adrian Gonzales, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we've been here 2 weeks talking about Adrian Gonzales, correct?
Yes, sir.
So can we start with Adrian Gonzales that day?
Yes, sir.
we've had a stipulation of around 11:31:55, give or take a few seconds. Adrian Gonzales is parked on the south lot.
Yes, sir.
We have a stipulation that the gunman entered the west wing around 1 minute and 3 seconds later. Correct?
Yes, sir.
During that time, y'all show up about halfway in between that time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
About 30 seconds in. And we know from your I want to make sure I have that photograph.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and take an hour for lunch. Get back as quick as you can. We'll see you back in an hour. Remember my instructions. Let everyone rise for the jury.